Welcome to Natural 6.
Question mark?
Yeah, I thought I'd try saying it slightly differently. Like Natural 6. And I feel like I've derailed us.
Natural 6.
Put the emphasis on the
Natural
second syllable,
6?
actually. Natural 6.
Welcome to Natural 6.
I like that.
And also, but if I said welcome to Natural 6, it implies we're all nude.
Yeah.
Doing a nude
Maybe
ep.
from the waist
Shall we
down.
pretend for our audio listeners that this is the nude ep?
Yes,
Yeah.
sure.
This is the nude ep.
Yes.
Yeah, none of us are wearing trousers.
We all look
Okay.
great.
We all look great, actually. We all look the best we've ever been.
Surprisingly normal.
Surprisingly normal.
Surprisingly
Disappointingly
normal.
so.
No one was sick when Alex got naked, which is great, which is a real bonus for the lad.
Yeah.
He kept his socks on, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
Well,
It's cold.
that's the brand. I mean,
I
you
know.
can't abandon the sock crew,
No,
the sock mob,
Sock mob.
the sock
The sock
mob,
mob,
of
yeah.
course.
Yeah.
I'm so
Meanwhile,
sorry.
Doug's
Would
entire thing is...
would we do a nude calendar?
You are so desperate to do tasteful nudes, it's unreal.
I don't think he's desperate to do tasteful news.
And again, emphasis on tasteful.
Tasteful is optional.
There was the money made by that released an OnlyFans model released the amount of money that they made
Yes,
I
in
saw.
a year, and I think Ben's really.
I think we all
starting
thought
to
about it.
consider.
Money, absolutely.
Listen, she's done really well, and I just think
Oh,
that,
good for her. You know, more power to
And
her
I
on.
would think that maybe a calendar would do well
Like,
for
are you
us.
thinking like calendar girl style? Like,
Yes.
oh, there's
Yeah.
little dye over the nipples. There's a greater healing potion over the nads. Is that the sort of thing?
The
you're
nads,
the nads. Yeah.
Well, a coin.
Yeah, there's a Quim coin.
I will say,
chaotic
you're
you're set
really
to the
not
table.
setting yourself up for greatness. Like, these are all
They
very
are
small
see-through. They
items.
are very small and they are see-through.
Do you know what I really
Do you
appreciate?
want
is-
sharp edge dice there?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about perspective, isn't it? I wasn't imagining that.
Like,
that
you
one
dice
for
would
one-
have to be close to the camera.
Dice are close to the
right,
camera.
But would we be able to line up all 7 polyhedral dice, like, in a row? And then, like, you know...
Yes, we would, and that's the creative thinking that we need for this calendar.
That's it.
This is the opening to the episode.
I'm just
Yeah.
thinking
Oh,
about
yeah,
this is
100%.
incomprehensible.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about all the comments I've seen recently. With every episode, there's always one more comment than the last episode saying, "What was that opening?" Or these episodes.
Yeah,
these
I
openings
have
are
noticed,
getting,
yeah.
these openings are getting more and more wild. And
Yeah.
every time there's one more comment than there was last time to that vein.
And do you think that's because we're like settling into our weird? Are we like finding our
Yes.
weird and we're just
Oh, I think we've always
I think
known
we're just
our
now
weird.
we're just like we have no
comfortable
issue
in our
putting
weird.
it upon other people.
yeah, imposing weird on others.
You're
Yeah.
chosen to
Also,
be,
we-
you're
we-
trapped here with us.
Yes.
We found our weird, now we're just rummaging around in it.
We went in the loft. We all got our weirds down from the loft, and we were like, I forgot this.
Remember this. I also think that like if you subscribe to us on Patreon, you're probably used to our weird.
Yeah.
Except we're being
Yeah.
weird on main
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
We're being weird on like the
We've got
We've got
content.
the
that
dog.
we get.
We've got dogs on. We've got
Dogs
dogs,
on
on
main.
main.
Dogs
Yeah,
on
yeah,
main.
yeah.
Dogs
on
Dogs on
And
main.
quite honestly, given how the morning started off, this is actually
Just pretty chill.
relatively sedate,
This is pretty
so.
chill. Oh,
This will make sense when you see the BTS in 8 months' time.
yeah.
Just don't put Bennett
But
in
that
the
guys, they're here for Dungeons and Dragons.
Should we say hi to our heroes?
Yes.
Yeah, wait, come on, Ben, can you, your side of a table, and I know people, the audio listeners can't see this, it's so chaotic.
awful.
Your side of a
No.
table is
Bit of a
really
mess,
upsetting me. No!
No,
love
Benjamin,
these-
don't do that with your penis. Of course, he's a naked episode. We have to remember this is a
Oh,
naked
sorry.
episode.
Yeah.
I love that you did that, and yet Hollie's stuff was still so ordered that nothing
changed.
Also, I want to say that like because I have a huge respect for Holly as a
Nah.
person.
No, you
I
don't,
did
though.
I did it, but then I was really going to go for it, but I'd feel really bad if I had actually.
Those are limited edition Japanese. These won prizes in Japan for being like the best.
Please for the audio
This
listeners.
is really
only.
important. I mean, like...
Oh,
it's good.
these are a series of felt tip.
Hi,
pens
I'm
I
Ben
bought.
Starr, and I'm playing Radiant
You're not
Thornbear, the
playing-
Wood Elf Wizard.
Hi, I'm Hollie Bennett, and I'm playing Elowyn Grenweird, the human fighter who's desperately going to try and kill Radium this episode.
Hi, I'm Doug Cockle. I'm playing.
You know what I like?
did
It's
so well.
symmetrical, right? So there are 5 of you, which means Doug's always
I'm
third.
always in the
So
middle.
It's
Doug's
kind
the
of
only
right,
person
yeah.
whose position doesn't change, but it just really threw him to look to his left. That was what threw him, to look to his left and introduce himself, rather than to his right. He was like, you know what? Tried it, can't do it.
Yeah.
I
He's
said my full name for the
Zoolander.
first time. I never said
It's not right.
Yeah, didn't you?
No, I said Bennett. I didn't say Bennett.
Go on, Cockle.
Hi, I'm Doug Cockle, and I play Kelmus the Dragonborn Druid.
Hello, I'm Alex Jordan, and I play the Kobold Rogue.
Hi, I'm Aoife Wilson, and I play Dolly the Tiefling Bard, whose voice is a little bit croakier today. Sorry about that.
And I'm Harry McEntire. I'm a load-bearing wall, smoothly plastered, neatly painted for all these scatological child's drawings to be hung on in
But
there.
if you knock on him, you'll find he's been blown out.
Shall we play some Dungeons and Dragons? I
believe so.
Yay! Almost 5 minutes in. last time. You began at the bridge over the river Seam, the lifeless body of Petra above you, a placard around her neck declaring her guilt. With Kelnis's help, Dolly cut the rope that held the dead tiefling and discovered a poet's scarf among her possessions, an indication that Petra had once intended to become a poet of grace. As I, the character not the me, threw the placard into the fast-flowing river below, you crossed the bridge and joined the Salt Road, the major trade route in this part of Reliquiae, heading north towards the Sanctum. As you made your way north, you discussed your options once you arrived at the Dragonborn stronghold, Dolly pointing out that, given that the Sanctum is situated on an island, you'd need to cross Fathom, the lake that separates the Sanctum from the mainland. She assured the rest of you that she had a contact from her past who may be able to help once you reach the town of Seascale that sits on Fathom's southern shore. After some hours travelling the Salt Road, you came to the first of many clusters of shops, stalls, and taverns that line the route. Kelnis, Radian, and I bought discount fish from an endless oceaner orc called Mac, who insisted that Serene, the inland sea, could be sailed beyond the Alanites. Radian and Elowen then overheard a pair of halflings discussing the Fortis Legion and, in the guise of a married couple, spoke with the pair regarding the movements of the Paladin Order. The halflings revealed that the Legion were no longer allowing any but their own to enter the Sanctum, and also gave the name of a few taverns the party could stay at on their journey north. Having bought some exquisite toffee apples from their stall and sampled some mulled cider, Radian and Elowen took their leave and you all hit the road again. That evening, with the sun beginning to set, you arrived at the first tavern mentioned by the halflings, the Salt Shed. In the rear of the tavern, a crowd sat and watched as mists played over the inland sea. Taking in the scene, your thoughts turned to fears of the past, uncertainty of the world beyond, and the dangers that may lie ahead as I tucked into his third toffee apple. Dolly secured a room, speaking to the tavern keeper who shared her cynicism at the actions of the Fortis Legion. By now, a sugar-saturated eye was bothering various patrons with endless questions. Kelnis spoke about Seascale and the Sanctum, the Dragonborn revealing his fears of the Legion and his lack of connection with Dragonborn culture. He suspected answers to long-forgotten questions may lie in wait, and he wasn't sure he wanted to hear them. The rest of the newly dead, minus their kobold friend, reaffirmed to him that whatever he faced, they would face it together. As night fell and the mists cleared, Kelnis went outside, followed by Elowen. They spoke of trees and how hard it could be to focus on things beyond yourself. Elowen told him that for the first time ever she missed home. Meanwhile, as Radian and Dolly gazed out at Serene, he asked her about her contact in Seascale. The tiefling shared that she was always uncomfortable when reconnecting with figures from her past. That all her life she had presented whatever version of herself she thought people wanted to see. How did she know who she was? How did she know if she was a good person? Radian reminded her of all the times she had wanted to run and hadn't. Then they made a pact to run into the lake at Fathom together once they arrived. That night, Kel slept fitfully, his mind full of images from his past, until he was finally able to focus on a memory of sitting in the canopy of a tree of Lathi as it walked towards a sunset, a soft hand in his. The next morning you returned to the Salt Road. After a few hours, you heard noises at the crest of a hill overlooking Serene. As I, Kelnis, and Radian crept through snow-covered ferns, Elowen and Dolly proceeded along the road, finding two members of the Fortis Legion attaching a placard to a large stone. The Dragonborn spotted Radian and began to question the three of you, checking your packs and finding Radian's spellbook/diary, which revealed your identities. Before the Dragonborn could act, Kelnis, I, and Dolly were on the offensive, Dolly casting suggestion to instruct the Legion members to let them be, I having already incapacitated one of them with Tasha's hideous laughter. Realizing that suggestion would only delay the discovery of your journey north, you attacked again, slaying both Dragonborn before they could deal you any damage. As evening fell, you reached another tavern that had been recommended to you. Inside, a Dragonborn seemed to recognize Kelnis and gestured him over to his table. Kelnis approached, whereupon the Dragonborn, Dolus, called Kel by his name and spoke of a meeting decades ago, when the web used Kelnis as an intermediary during negotiations with the Fortis Legion. Though Kelnis couldn't remember Dolus specifically, he did have a memory of the meeting he spoke of. He revealed that the party were headed to the Sanctum, Dolus going on to warn him that the Sanctum had changed, whilst also telling Kelnis that he had recently left the Fortis Legion. Intrigued to know more, Kelnis brought the rest of you over to meet his new acquaintance. Dolus told you that the Legion were no longer allowing any to enter the Sanctum unless they are a member, and that he had recently absconded from the Legion without informing them of his decision. Keen to secure his help, you asked what could convince him to accompany you north, and he requested 500 gold, which he promised to pay once he got you inside the Sanctum. Still, he wished to sleep on his decision, but did reveal that Carvilius had changed since she returned from Mount Atria. Before he took his leave for the night, Dolus tried to impress upon Kelnis just how unusual it was to see a dragonborn like him. The flawless gold of Kelnis's scales is indicative of great heritage within the Fortis Legion and of great adherence to the virtues of Alrum by his ancestors. Once Dolus departed, Kelnis spoke more about his past. He was raised by non-dragonborn parents. His only connection to his true identity, the small triangular pendant he wears around his neck. He was abandoned while still in the shell, and found by his father in Lathi. That night, as you all slept, Kelnis was again tortured by nightmares. This time, in addition to those images he saw before, he now had shifting memories of the meeting with Dolus. Last, he saw a face engulfed in flame and found himself running as fire erupted behind him. And when morning arrived, you met Dolus downstairs, dressed in his Fortis Legion uniform. With him in your company, you set out north for Seascale and the Sanctum. And that is where we are now. So it's early morning, and the mists that sit over the sea sit over the road, rising up the promontory top above the cliffs and coating the road itself in this fine mist, which as the light starts to break through the sort of silver grey of the sky, that mist starts to clear and you see a wide road beyond you, the same snow-covered ferns that lined your way before, the outlines of the first islands of the inland sea to your west, and the road north.
Are we going to be safe traveling this?
I mean, the mist will probably cover us for a little while, but it's the fastest way to get there.
Could just do without, even with Dolus with us. We could do without running into too many dragons.
Yeah.
What can we expect, Dolus?
Well, I am not familiar with the orders and the movements of the Legion, certainly over the last week. I do not know what sorties have been planned, what scout parties or placards are being hung along the route. Do you have any ways of obscuring your appearance? Your names will be known to the Legion. They will be looking for you.
We have other names.
Well, that's a start. What am I to call you by, should we be questioned?
Okay. Go on, Radian. You tell him.
I'm Missy.
Of course.
You can call me Pebble.
Pebble?
Chase. Steve Chase.
Steve, is that short for Stephen, or are we?
No, just Steve.
With a P-H-E?
V.
Oh, I thought because it was Dungeons and Dragons, it might be with a P-H-E. Looks to I.
I is me.
He doesn't write anything down. And then he looks to Dolly.
Pamela.
Of course.
So, as you can imagine, we'd be almost impossible to find with these names.
We've been traveling under the guise of a spoon company. Steve Chase is
Wood and spoon.
Wood and Spoons. Wood and Spoon, the original wooden spoon company.
And again, that's gone really well for us so far.
Dolus gives a sober nod.
I just passes behind Kel. As he passes behind this imposing figure, comes out the other side, and his cape is just a different color, and then turns around, walks back behind again, and comes out the other side, and it's a different color, and he goes to turn again, and he's just gonna, if no one's gonna stop him, he's just gonna literally keep going
Roll
back
me
and forth.
performance with advantage, because
Okay.
this is a genuinely impressive thing.
Okay,
It might not be.
Oh, that's impressive.
that is 12.
Yeah, Dolus, I think Dolus is briefly very impressed by both the performance and the cloak. And then as the performance continues, it's more the cloak that's impressing
Yep.
him rather than I.
Along with that is basically I is now running out of colors. So I is basically just kind of going,
Try.
Just going back and just kind of thinking, is he going back to the beginning, or is he just...
Goes to spots, goes to stripes, goes to diagonal stripes, and the diagonal stripes the other way. Can't tell. Impossible.
The good thing is they're not looking for a party of 6, so that's something in our favor right now. We do have cloaks, but as far as disguises go, I don't know that we have much more than that.
I have a possibility. And I reach up and I touch my amulet. And I think very hard about an elf.
Okay. Cal, roll me a... Roll me a wisdom check. Do you have proficiency in wisdom saving throws? When you look at your character sheet, do you have like a little black dot? Yes, you do.
Where? Oh, yes. Yeah,
So you can add your proficiency. So roll this like it's a saving throw, essentially. Roll me a wisdom saving throw, but it's kind of a wisdom check that you're getting to add your proficiency to.
With advantage. What is that? 14.
14. You watch as Calnus reaches and touches this triangular pendant around his neck. It's been there for the entire time you've known him. Radian, you held it out of the way while he was vomiting in the Tavern Sibilance back in Vale. And you've seen at various times around the fire that he's idly toyed with it, almost like whether it was a nervous tick or just a way to aid concentration. But now you see that as he touches it, it starts to glow, and it's silver, but then you see a sort of, as if, like amber, like a golden glow that starts to permeate that silver, illuminate it. And describe for me exactly the form you are attempting to take, and I will tell you how much of it works.
So, I'm thinking about a male elf, roughly 6 feet tall, with strawberry blonde hair down to his neck. A very small, slight mustache, very, very small, and a little teeny beard going down there. And he's well-built, muscular, but not strong. He goes to the gym in the woods.
Don't we all?
So you watch, and what you see is that Calnus's scales, the first thing is they begin to soften. The hard ridgelines of scales become wrinkled skin, and then even some of those wrinkles recede. And with a 14, he's left with a paler, slightly yellowed complexion, but certainly he has the appearance of human flesh, or elf flesh, or dwarf, humanoid flesh.
Jaundiced.
Jaundiced, yeah, it looks a little jaundiced.
Steve
This whole time?
And
Steve Chase.
the hair that comes out is strawberry blonde, and it looks like it's been sort of badly cut, as if some sections of it have grown and some sections of it haven't. And you're looking at a ragged-looking, could be an elf, could be a human, is not a dragonborn.
Kel, how long have you been able to do that?
A long time.
Could have come in handy before.
I use the ability sparingly.
Okay.
What did you just do?
Changed.
Is this a brand new appearance you've never taken on?
We've talked about
Yeah.
before about the nature of this, that it's it's slightly unpredictable. So I think probably it is. It's probably not quite what he had in mind.
Yep.
And every time he does this, there's a possibility it will be something else.
Yes. Yes. Great.
So he's as surprised as
Does anyone?
everybody else.
So this is what you look like.
No, this is the image I tried to hold in my mind.
This is why I hate magic.
So that pendant, what does it do? You can just change into any form you imagine.
I do not change. It is an illusion.
I want to walk up, reach out, and take hold of Kel's forearm, like trying to feel the scales.
Let me just check.
I hope I got that right, Harry. Was that
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. You reach out and touch Kel, and it's Kel's scaly arm beneath.
I kind of go right up close and just like looking.
Before you get to Kel is musclier than the form he's got.
Yeah.
When you hold him, it looks as if your hand is hovering just above his skin. And as you try to bring it up, before you bring your eye actually to the flesh, your eye is like scratched by the scale. It's there quicker than you.
Okay.
Aye, what are you doing?
Eyes, eye.
Aye.
Aye, aye.
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, good. Magic's just as unpredictable as it always is.
It's him. It's still him. It's still him.
I told you it was me.
Well, this is helpful. Might have been helpful before, but it's helpful now, so...
How long does it last for?
You don't know. It's been a long, long time since you did this.
I have not used this power in many years.
No time like the present.
I thought it was timely.
Pretty timely.
I don't think there's anything I can do to change my appearance except cover up these horns.
We do have the dust of disappearance.
We do. I think that's for getting out of somewhere very quickly, very fast. But could be useful.
It works for 2d4 minutes, a dust of disappearance. So it would only give you a maximum of 8 minutes. And Dolus would have told you this is people allow a day to get to the Sanctum, to get to Seascale. You can probably do it in sort of 6 hours of solid travel, maybe 8 if you encounter issues. So, that's the kind of length of time over which.
What do you suggest? You know how widespread we are. You think walking around like this, people in the Fortis Legion will suspect us?
Roll me an insight check.
5.
Dolus looks like he's never seen someone do this before. And is looking at Kelness. You've changed your cloak, aye. Kelness has just changed his appearance. This is powerful magic. Staring at Kelness.
Dolus.
Yeah, yes.
Dolus, look at me. We're going to need you to concentrate, okay? We are walking straight into danger. We can do some very strange things, but we're really going to need you to be with us at all points. Okay?
He nods, sort of takes a moment to come to his senses. It's like he's a little disconcerted by how easy that was. Of course, yes.
Will we be recognized?
There is a chance. But if perhaps myself and Kelness were to walk ahead of the rest of you, we could warn you in some way should we see people. They are not looking for me. Should they see me, they would be pleased to see me rather than angry. They are not looking for gestures at Kel, but they are not looking for this man.
That sounds like a plan. Maybe you two walk ahead.
Very well.
If you spot anyone, let us know.
Yes.
We've done more for less.
Yeah, let's just get there.
Yeah.
So are you guys going to just trail along behind?
But only, I would say, you wouldn't need to be more than 20, 30 yards. Do you know what I mean? So, like, let's call it 60 feet you would be behind. So you'd be one round of dash behind, apart from for, old Fellington here who can do whatever he wants.
He's off.
So you start to make your way north along this road. And Calnus, you have Dolus next to you. He turns to you as you start walking here. How did you do that?
I do not know. My father showed me how to do it when I was very, very young. The pendant is a magic I do not understand. It came to me from my real parents, who I do not know.
He puts his arm on your shoulder almost to stop you and seems surprised as his hand stops just shy of where he expects it to stop. And he says, "You are a dragonborn."
As far as I know, yes.
It would be a shame to... For all the faults of the Legion, now, for all the mistakes I think they've made, it would be hard to realize that a true gold was... Well, like I said, there aren't many of you, and I don't know, the thought that you were something else was... Forgive me. It's an idle thought.
Dolus, I do not know my heritage. I do not know who my real parents were. I never have. This is why the Sanctum is a frightening place for me.
We could find those answers for you.
We could, and perhaps I don't want to know them. Or maybe I do. I don't know.
What is it that you are going to do in the Sanctum? I cannot bring you in through the front door.
Perhaps you know another way, and either way, we will need to get across Fathom, and I do not think that my friends understand the danger.
If you do. The waters of Fathom, they are changed.
Since last I saw you,
No, this past month.
do they now allow others to cross?
None dare. They're black. Pitch black. Like looking into the night. And they say strange things lurk within. Unnatural things.
Does anyone cross Fathom?
The Legion. The Legion still, and there are those who know the waters well that do what they can to navigate. The fishermen still bring in their nets, but...
Are they all Dragonborn?
The fishermen, yes. Yes. But, well, as you say, there needs to be another point of entry to the tower. A boat that is not a vessel of the Fortis Legion would have to pick a route where they were not within the gaze of the Legion. It would be a longer journey, a more dangerous one.
Perhaps there is another way in. Surely the Fortis Legion would have planned for a siege.
There is roll me an insight check as he goes to say something and then stops.
22.
Okay, it's like, you can tell he was going to reveal something that he's been so conditioned not to reveal that in the moment he goes to do it, it's like muscle memory clams up. No, I can't say that, I can't say that. Actually,
Dolus, in the interest of our friendship, Please, be truthful with me.
Roll me persuasion with advantage. There is a way. I would not reveal it to any but a dragonborn. There is a forgotten stair, a cove on the northeast of the Sanctum Island, and a stair that leads to the 6th level. I would not advise it under most circumstances, but it would be a way of entering undetected.
What do you know of this stair?
It has not been used in centuries. There has been no need. It was thought to be necessary, as you say, to have some kind of contingency, something to escape a siege or relieve it. But it is long abandoned. I don't know what would be on the climb.
Does this stair avoid Fathom?
No, it cannot do that.
So a boat to Fathom is
Boat to
still
Fathom is the
necessary.
only way. Yes. But with the right chart, with the right dragonborn at the helm, it is possible that the Legion, whatever it is no friend of those things that lurk within the black. And they have made the journey time upon time in the last month. More than usual.
Do we need then to approach a fisherman who knows the waters well?
We would need the knowledge of someone who knows the waters well, yes.
That is what we must find in Seascale then.
I think you're right. While this is going on, anything happening with the four of you?
They can't hear us, right? They're 60.
No, absolutely not.
I don't trust him, you know. Gold will buy instruction, but it doesn't buy, well, loyalty.
I'm going to say I'm in agreement with you, but it's all we have.
3 is just too many, okay? Toffee apples are like a once in an every so often treat. So just
3 years. And I goes,
Thumb, finger,
that, yes,
third finger.
a lot. Did you get, if there's still some in your teeth?
No.
Okay. Just
Roll me deception or persuasion, don't tell us which.
16.
So I would say that's successful, whatever it is, whether that's a truth or a lie.
yeah. Just
I
you need
trust him.
those. You need those. Who? What? Oh, right. Yeah. No, definitely don't trust him.
I does. I don't know why.
I think he is a good individual. I think he means well. But when it gets dangerous,
Good individuals are often the ones that do the worst things in the name of being good.
He looks terrified.
yeah.
They're the ones that worry me the most.
So maybe he needs to be more terrified of us than of them.
We just watch each other's backs. We'll be just fine.
How do you feel about the other one?
Aska.
No. Cal.
Cal.
Steve.
He's really getting it, though. I'm so proud of him.
I'm worried about him.
Yeah.
I
We're
mean-
asking a lot of them.
We need to be there for him.
He's also clearly terrified. He could do anything rather than go to the Sanctum.
Yeah.
But I just don't know where else we're going to find any answers. And we certainly won't even talk to Carvilius from the way it sounds.
We'll get in there. We'll find answers and we'll get out as quickly as we need to.
It seems his scales could be a powerful weapon For us, that's the right time.
We are walking into a fortress of people that are looking specifically for us right now. This could be the most dangerous place we could possibly be going in the world right now.
Say more stupid than dangerous.
Either or. The point is, it's a pretty risky plan.
Is a part of us inside?
We don't even have a plan. We're just going to try and get there and I guess wing it. Even for us, this is bold.
Yeah.
But what else are we going to do? Sit back and let people hunt us down?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is the best chance we have to clear our names, because this is the only person that might vouch for us if it comes to it. The only person that knows the truth and might actually stick to it.
It's kind of fun though, right?
No.
I looks
kind
up
of.
I looks up at Radiant.
Doing something for ourselves, for once. Not taking orders from other people.
It's just funny how doing things for ourselves is always the most chaotic and possibly most dangerous thing we could possibly do. But yeah, kind of fun.
We're living in the shadows. We're not doing anything for ourselves. We can't do anything for ourselves. We can't even show our faces.
I quite like doing things for you.
I is quite good in the shadows.
You are, but I don't want to live in them forever.
There is comfort in the shadows after time.
There's nothing in the shadows half the time.
I kind of agree with you, but I'll just be glad when, we're not being hunted to every corner of Reliquiae. That's all I want.
So for those of you who've seen it, Fathom, what's it like?
Lots of water. It's on a nice day. It's very peaceful.
I'm sure that's exactly what we'll find. Something pretty and peaceful.
Well, whatever we do find, we'll be ready. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst, and all that.
Always.
Yeah.
And I'm going to roll. The first half of this journey passes without incident. The first 4 hours of the day, up until you left at 7 o'clock in the morning, so we're approaching noon, 11 o'clock. The sun is now as bright, really, as it's going to get, but it doesn't really do much but illuminate the grey sky, but at least the snow has stopped falling and the mists have cleared. And the road undulates, peaks and troughs, and there are moments when you feel like exposed, and there are other moments when just the natural geography of the terrain makes you feel extremely secure, and it just follows those peaks and troughs until it starts to drop away in a more consistent sense. You're past the edge now, past the edge of the inland sea. And rather than it moving with you and you walking along its shore, you're starting to leave its shore behind. And there's flatter land. Someone roll me a luck check. Don't mind who.
Go on, Dolly.
Oh, I'm notoriously bad at these.
Ho, ho, ho!
Natural 20.
Holy.
Yes!
Okay.
The doors open at the Sanctum and you just walk on
Yeah,
water.
yeah.
You go straight in.
You win. So the next 4 hours and your passage to Seascale, what does them going that well look like?
I think there's maybe a bit of break in the cloud cover. I think the sun maybe kind of breaks through a little bit. Not enough to melt the snow exactly, but enough to sort of maybe dry up some of the puddles on the road. And more so than the terrain, maybe it just gives everyone a little bit of, when everything just feels nicer on a nice day, everyone's spirits are a little bit lifted. And I don't know, everyone's heart feels a little bit less heavy for a little while. And as a result, we go a little bit faster.
And after within the last hour of the journey, Kelnis and Dolus feel comfortable enough to drop back into the main body of the group. You can see for the last couple of miles just this clear path.
So hungry.
Yeah.
Can I? I think that while we've been walking, in addition to the conversation that we've had, I think that I've begun to trust Dolus.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about, our previous experience together, and we've
Roll me a d6 quickly.
D6.
I should have done that before. Sorry. I just need to set the precedent for this.
2.
2. So actually, after 20 minutes, that form that you had started to shift. So by the time you had maybe found somewhere to have a little break and speak to one another and check on the road, Kelnis was back. So, you
Do
are
I know it?
Yeah, absolutely you do. Absolutely you do.
Hey, guys.
You sort of feel it. It feels like peeling a sort of like an acetate. So it feels like shedding skin. And you look down to see how it's shedding, yeah, exactly like that. But there's nothing falling from you. But that's the sensation. Your skin, your scales feel kind of tight and then suddenly exposed to the air. Frantic
God, it's
scratching.
horrific.
But yeah, as you say, you've spoken with Dolus of the time before, and
I think that as my feeling of trust increases with him, I think I've told him a little bit about what we're attempting to do. That we're going to speak to Parvis. That everything that has been said about us recently is false. That that we don't know exactly what's going on, but there's this thing called the Gloam, and Barabask is up to something, and we're in search of answers, and that's why we're going to the Sanctum.
yeah, it's a lot for him to take in, but he nods, and some of it he knew, some of it he could piece together. But when you speak of Parvis and of wishing to find Parvis, he says, well, he would be on the upper levels. My ancestry, and he sort of spreads his arms and sort of gestures to these silver scales with patches of gold, rather than that bright gold of you. I was not a personal guard. I was not an honored golden, and therefore I'm yet to reach those upper levels on which you would find Parvis. But my understanding is that he took rooms. He took rooms just below the council chambers. It is on the council chamber that the stair emerges. It would be... We can get you to the chambers.
Would it be possible to disguise me as someone?
As a member of the Legion.
I do not know the ways of the Legion.
You are very gold, my friend. Perhaps there is a way that you could mute your palate. He gestures towards the amulet, or does it not?
It
Roll me an Arcana.
tries to do what I ask.
Yeah, roll me an Arcana check.
14.
14. You would know that the pendant works best with simple instructions, which actually are like quite profound changes. So imagine an elf is much easier to imagine and easier for the pendant to achieve than for you to slightly alter you. That kind of fine, if you like, fine brushwork, the pendant, it's possible, but it has to go very well.
They didn't hear. These guys didn't hear any of the stuff about the stair.
No.
Stairway and everything.
Well, you had that in the morning in this first kind of chunk of travel,
Yeah.
so it's perfectly reasonable that you could have, if you want to, have chosen to share that information with the group when you stopped off for a rest and to take on some food and drink.
I think that I do. I think when we stop and we pause, I say, I think there may be a way inside the Sanctum. Dolus has told me that Parvis is likely to be on the upper levels, and there's a staircase that is little used. And it would take us to the beginning of the upper levels. But we still have to cross Fathom, which sounds a very daunting task in these times.
Dolly, it sounds peaceful and pretty.
Dolus tells you about the Black Water, about this change.
Well, it was.
Yeah, it's about right for us, isn't it? Of course, it couldn't just be a nice lake full of happy fish. We can try and get across the infinite darkness.
Fish might still be happy underneath.
Does we think these stairs is good for those who cannot goes in the front?
I mean, I don't think any of us can go in the front realistically, so any way that we can get in the back, I am more than happy to do.
Can a Dolus and an elf, Steve Chase, Nuts maybe enter the front?
Why would an elf be going to the Sanctum?
This is maybe something a Dolus can help us with.
Dolus thinks about it. He says, the Sanctum has been barred to all but the Dragonborn in recent times. I don't know how that may or may not have escalated in the week that I was away. It might be possible, but it would require an ironclad alibi.
Is there any art supply places in Seascale?
Are you asking Dolus, or are you trying to remember for you?
I think I'm wondering aloud.
There would be places to buy parchment and pigment.
I mean, I'm just saying, why do something with magic when we could just...
Paint him?
Yeah, why not?
We're going to deceive the Fortis Legion by painting Kelnus.
It's not a bad idea.
Yes, it is.
I've never been painted before.
Oh my
I'm
god.
just saying, you hate magic. Here's a non-magical solution.
Were we to use the main entrance to the Sanctum, the Fortis Legion would be aware of the craft by which we were using, by which we were crossing Fathom. It would need to be a craft of the Legion.
In which case, we'd have to go another way. That's Cal by himself.
Yeah, okay.
We wouldn't be able to get to him.
We could speak to a fisherman, a fisher person, who may be,
I've got someone that I want to speak to once we get to Seascale.
you do, don't you?
So let me worry about that. For now, let's worry about what we do when we get there.
We can't walk through the front entrance.
No, I don't think we can.
But you say this way in, it hasn't been entered for years.
To the best of my knowledge, in all the time I have been there, there is an irony to the name, the Forgotten Stair. It is hoped that those who built it for us will have forgotten it. The Legion are aware of it. I am not aware of it ever having been used.
And it's not guarded, it's just
There
abandoned.
would be no need to guard it. Guard it from whom? It's only the Legion that know it exists.
We have snuck in the back entrance to places before, and we have been greeted with tricks and traps.
It's not bad.
I do not know. I do not know. I have not seen it. I know it exists.
So you does not think there is dead birds?
Oh, he didn't mean to kill them, okay? Just give him a break.
I would imagine there probably are dead birds.
I do not know much of the Legion. Dolus knows more, but what I do know is that the Legion is proud and probably do not feel that they need to guard a forgotten step.
Also, what other option do we have?
Yeah, we're not going through the front door.
Well,
I just think it's a shame that we can't paint him.
Paint him on your
Still
own
could,
time.
just in case.
I would like to be painted.
I know you would, and that's the problem.
Listen, me and you,
Me?
Well done, though. Well done, though. But
Me and you, one night, a bottle of wine, a good time.
that sounds horrible.
Truthfully, though,
Team building
Radiant,
exercise.
We're on a team building exercise.
Oh, thing is,
This entire thing is the worst team building exercise I've ever been on.
There is an I in T.
remember?
listen,
There is a me, though.
Me. There is a me in T.
I'm just listening to and gathering all the information. It sounds like Kel's coloration is quite rare. So if on the off chance we go up these stairs, all hell breaks loose and he is seen, why not have him be a color that doesn't draw so much attention anyway?
And might it not be an advantage to have someone with the colors like this?
Do you not think Dragonborn might notice that they've been painted?
I don't know, do you notice when people have their face painted?
Good comeback. Good comeback.
Take that.
Nailed it.
Have you thought about this?
Can you roll, wait a second, roll intimidation?
Yeah, please do. Oh, please do. Please roll. Please roll intimidation or persuasion. I don't mind which. With disadvantage.
Natural 20!
Okay, fine. You can have it. You can have it. You can have it. You can have it.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess I don't look that hard. Well, Cal, I guess we're painting you for funsies.
You see that? You see for a moment when that.
You've run out of natural 20s now, by the
Yeah.
way. That's where you just used
When that-
your last nat 20.
When that incredible burn lands on Elowen, you see.
Not bad for someone who's not well, guys.
You see for the first time that any of you ever seen it, you see for just a brief flicker the girl she once was.
She's scared. She's
She's just
alone.
a scared girl writing stories about herself.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go so hard on her.
Oh, no, you didn't roll an nat 20.
Are you blushing?
No. It's just cold out and we've been walking fast.
You're definitely blushing.
No, my cheeks just flushed.
It's cute.
Don't do cute, Calnus.
Okay, it's cute in a mean way.
Thank you.
Dolus says, I should tell you that when we arrive in Seascale, I should report to Readiness. How familiar are any of you with Seascale, really, in terms of its geography?
I don't think I've been there that many
I'd have
times.
passed through it, but never.
So those who would have passed through it, so that's the regular three who might know the world, can roll me history checks. It would be a known thing about Seascale.
8.
8.
18.
18.
19.
19. 18 and 19, you would know that Readiness is an admission center or sort of training camp where prospective Dragonborn who want to enter the Legion would be schooled and would be trained. And it was only once they actually were accepted into the Legion that they would take the boat across to the Sanctum and go through whatever trials would gain them access. And so when Dolus is speaking of needing to go and speak to those at Readiness, it would be to sort of, he's absconded and he's gonna, he'd have to sort of try and find a way to explain his absence.
Could Cal go and sign up as a new recruit?
That would be possible.
That is a possibility. We could also go as Dolus' prisoners.
No, I'm not doing the prisoner thing again.
Didn't you all end up swimming in shit last time?
Exactly that. I am not doing the prisoner thing again. I would rather go in the back door than do.
She's ill, okay?
Roll intimidation.
Roll me acrobatics. Acrobatics.
Athletics. Athleticism.
Athletics.
Surely it'd be nature.
Natural. Roll me a natural.
All right, stealth.
Go on.
Just for me.
Can we say that now every time we roll and we don't want to do it? That's
just for me. Just for me.
There are many options. There is, and this frightens me more than I care to admit. If, as Dolus says, my coloring is so rare, perhaps someone knows something about where I'm from, and perhaps that is leverage that we could use.
Ultimately, Cal, it's you that's going to be in danger here, or in the most danger. So, We'll go with whatever it is you want to do.
Just don't be a martyr, Cal.
No, I don't want to be a martyr. But this is a team-building exercise.
We don't have to decide now. Still got to get to Seascale.
I takes off his cloak and reaches out to take Kel's stick. Just kind of takes it from his grasp and ties the cape sort of around the end in a sack kind of fashion. And sort of slips himself inside.
Like a bindle?
Like a bindle, and brings it up and ties, and then pokes out and goes,
I could sneaks in with Steve.
Let me think what you would need to roll for that. You are a small creature, but you are still a creature.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would say is if you were to do that for Kel to carry you in, his speed would be halved.
Mm-hmm.
He would have disadvantage on dexterity saving throws.
assuming this is all just while he's holding the stick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, forever. Forever, because he does like a disc.
Yeah.
He has a disc bulge. And it would be like an athletics to lift it up and put it on his back in a way that wasn't... There would be a sort of a series. It would make it more challenging to get in.
Okay.
In the sense that you would also have to roll some stealth
Yeah.
to stay really quiet.
Yeah.
But it is mechanically possible.
What does you think, Big Scale?
Roll me an athletics check, see how easy this is to get up on your shoulder.
Stay still.
Okay.
Athletics. 8.
You do that thing where you go to lift something and you go backwards because it doesn't quite come up. These knots that you've tied, how... roll me a sleight of hand check for the knots.
16.
Okay, so they're really good knots. The knots don't give way.
I get under it again, I'm working out the leverage on this thing. So I get it right up so that the bag is right up against my back.
Roll me another athletics.
I feel like if we just do this in front of the Fortis Legion, everyone will realise we can't possibly have killed God.
There's one way to clear her name.
It's a 14.
That's a 14. Yeah, it gets it up, but this is heavy. This is hard. This doesn't feel comfortable and it doesn't feel like something you'd want to do for a very long time. So it feels possible, but it's...
You are heavy, me.
It's best in a... It strikes you it's best in a tight spot.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Could you still maybe just carry me down to the water?
No, you've got your legs, you said.
Me only has little legs.
I put him down and I untie the knots and
He's fallen asleep as soon as this. As soon as there was a rocking motion.
He's just
kitten.
you open it up, and you just see I starting to pull out a toffee apple, shoves it back in,
Dolly's like,
hello.
there's 3.
It is possible that we could find this stairway if I were disguised. And if I, Calnus, were disguised.
It's okay,
and I was sneaky, we could enter and try to find Parvis. I don't know where that leaves the rest.
May I offer some advice? The weather's beautiful. Let's take advantage of it. Let's get to Seascale as quickly as possible, and I'm sure the opportunity will make itself known to us.
That's good.
And you walk. Go ahead, Dolly.
You just have such nice teeth. Like, it just, 2 eye apples, it's going to ruin it.
I'm still
such a
not gonna
lovely
look after
smile.
it.
You have to look after it.
Can I sidle up to Dolly and ask her something?
Are you trying to ask her out of earshot of everyone else?
Yes.
Roll me a stealth check.
22.
What's your passive perception, Kel? You don't have anything that high, do you? have like 18
Oh, passive
something
perception,
insane.
18.
Yeah, so no one hears this.
Dolly, look at this. And then I open up like my book
Mm-hmm.
and I say, I've been trying something. I don't think it's ready,
Okay.
but I'm going to need your help.
Okay.
I want to teach I to read.
Ooh. How long have we got?
And I think I found a way to do that.
What? What is it?
But I'm going to need your help.
Please tell me more.
I'm going to need your drawings.
Oh, no.
It's like a cipher.
Oh, okay. I think that could work. He's a very visual lizard.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Lana. I like it so much.
And I just think that, listen, he doesn't need it now. But in time, with what I've got here, I think we can teach him to read.
How long have you been working on that?
A long time.
You do really care, don't you?
I care about us. Because, hey, we're fighting Medea. Imagine if he could have read.
Wouldn't have been as cool, though.
In the background of all this, I is just touching his ears because they feel a bit warm. He's like, this is odd for a cold-blooded animal.
There are many ways that we can and can't contribute to this as a team. And I know that sometimes I'm really useless, but I think in this instance I can really help.
You're not useless, but I think this could really help. If he's willing to learn, I think being able to pick up a word or two might just save a life here and there.
Good. I'm gonna need you to start thinking of some drawings,
Oh, I'm already halfway there.
but don't make them weird.
Listen. Do you want him to learn or not?
Fine.
Thanks.
So you head for Seascale. And the town of Seascale, as you journey towards it, it clings to the shores of Fathom, the lake that is home to the Sanctum, dragonborn seat of power. Set against the magnificence of the Sanctum, a great monolith of marble, Seascale seems by contrast hunkered down into the earth, though in reality it comprises the same single and two-story buildings of most towns. Far from forests and set along a wide bay, its houses are lime-washed terracotta tiles on the roof covered in snow. The only grandeur of the place is found in the bay itself. These twin dragon heads of stone sunk into the bedrock of Fathom that stare out into the water, guarding the town from the rumoured creatures that lurk within the depths of the lake. And it's a thriving, bustling town. You can see as you approach it the same mixture of creatures that you'd see anywhere else, but there are more dragonborn. Whereas before you might see 1 in every 10, 1 in every 15, even 1 in every 20 is a dragonborn. Here, more than half the population are dragonborn. It's the one place you would go where it would be more likely to see one than not. It is towards the end of the evening. Darkness is starting to fall. Everyone roll me perception checks. What do we get, Radiant Thornbear? 5.
21.
21 from Elowin.
21.
21 from Kelnis.
7.
7 from I.
4.
4 from Dolly. So what Kelnis and Elowin see is what's immediately apparent is readiness. A camp on the southeastern corner of the town, surrounded by a wooden palisade. And even from where you are, as you're sort of getting into those first streets, there's no walls here. Seascale's a trading town, and historically would have been protected not just by the Sanctum and the Legion within it, but also on the far northeastern shore of Fathom is the human capital Coressian, which is a great city and a great seat of power. And so Seascale has historically been Not that there was anything to protect it from, but would have been assured of its position by its proximity to an unusual military power within a very peaceful world. And so you start to walk in through the streets, and as you've clocked the palisade that surrounds Readiness, what you hear is, even at this late hour, like the clanging of weaponry, as if drills are being run through, orders that are being barked. It's like a larger scale version of what you found your brothers doing, Ella, when you got to Castle Grenweird. But this sounds efficient. This sounds decisive in a way that training a few farmers and the butcher's boy wasn't.
We should put our hoods up.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say we feel like we've barely taken our hoods down.
Yeah. I'm going to say that your kind of standard issue, once you've told me that hoods are up, I'm not going to assume they're down until you tell me that there are. And for our audio listeners, often what people will just do is mime putting a little over the top.
The international symbol for hood up.
For hood up. Where is it that you would like to head? Where would you like to go?
Well, I need to ask around for someone. Is there... I guess the tavern would be the best place for that.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's anywhere you'd want to go first.
I just had a thought, perhaps, if word is not spread through the entirety of the web, maybe we could utilize members of the web.
Kind of what I had in mind, but a little bit safer than that, maybe. Along those lines. Let's see. Let me try something first.
You want to find a tavern?
Yeah.
As you start to do that, Dolly says, I need to take my leave and report to Readiness. Where are you? Where are you heading? Do you know? How will I find you?
We're going to head to a tavern. I'm going to ask around for someone. Are you going to be safe?
Yes, of course. Of course. You need not add me to your list of worries. They seem long enough as is.
Well, how many eyebrows are going to be raised at you being gone for a week?
I wish I were more important to the Legion than I were. Or I wish that for a long time. I think now, finally, my irrelevance may play in my favor. I can't imagine my skill set would have been missed particularly.
I'd like to do an investigation check, if that's the appropriate thing.
Tell me what you want to do and I'll
Just
tell you.
looking at him to see if what he's doing is telling the truth.
Insight.
Insight, thank you. Radian, if you were to see him on camera, he would be looking. He'd think he looks really, really cool,
and he's blue steel.
And he's looking in a really great way, but he rolls a 3.
Okay.
So he actually doesn't know.
He can't get a read. Like with a 3, you just can't get a read.
Yeah.
There's nothing to suggest to you that he's lying. Any more than any conversation you've had with him before this point.
But I'd like it to come across like it's kind of like it's strange. Like he's kind of gone up to him and he's like,
"Oh yeah,
I think it does. Yeah, I think it is.
He got
strange.
that. He got that.
It's strange.
He's maybe got like a hand on his shoulder, like that, and it's just still then he hasn't removed it, and he's just kind of like boring, going.
And I step in, and I put my hand on Radiant's shoulder. And I turn him away. I turn him away, and I look at Dolus and I say, "What are your particular skills?"
Well, I was more an archivist, a researcher, than a warrior. I mean, we all receive warrior training, but I would not be a match for those that guard the gallant, or that... You remember, gallant is the sort of title given to Segovax. It was signed Segovax, Gallant of the Fortis Legion, so you can assume that's a very high-ranking officer. Those that guard the gallant would far outstrip me in their power. My particulars were in research.
What kind of research?
Whatever the Legion wished to understand, that was what I investigated for them.
Who are they preparing to even fight?
Who are they preparing to fight now?
Yeah.
We were preparing for a battle that may one day come with the idea of an enemy that would strike towards the gods and wish to upset the balance of power. Now it seems we are that. They are that force. Hence me taking my leave. I don't want to draw any more maps or understand the ledgers of towns, only for that to be used to exploit weaknesses.
Radiant goes back up to him, puts his hand back on his shoulder.
Yes.
No peace.
I'm sorry if I was strange just then.
You are. You're very strange.
I thought you were going to say sorry.
Can I try again?
What are you trying to roll insight on? I mean, the conversation has moved on.
Yeah.
So you just want to roll insight on whether that is his role, they're his
So you know what?
skills.
I
totally can
just
do.
kind of want him to fail again. If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I just want him to.
Be weird.
Yeah, we don't need a roll for you to be weird.
Yeah,
We can
he's
just-
just
we can
weird.
just
He's just weird. I think he just does the look again.
Mm-hmm. And Dolus says, You okay? You all right?
Are you okay?
Stop it.
I've been better. I am not relishing placing myself back in the center of what I have only recently extricated myself from. But I'm sick of doing nothing. You know?
So the Fortis Legion is preparing to fight for the Sinless One.
Yes.
So they're preparing to fight anyone who doesn't follow the Sinless One.
That was the answer I arrived at, yes. That this was the beginning of something far worse, something far more terrible. Should the Fortis Legion organize itself and attack, a town guard of Ponvin would not be able to hold them back.
I think very few town guard would be able to hold them back.
You'd be right. Barun would be the only place that would have a chance really of defending itself simply because of its architecture.
What are the feelings among the regular Legion? Are there others who feel as you do?
He looks ashamed, lowers his eyes. I do not have the bravery to ask for fear of exposing myself. I don't know. Whatever fears you have, fear is something that the Legion does not value. Fear is something that the Legion attempts to train out of you. From your time in readiness to your time at the Sanctum itself, fear is just a feeling. And feelings are feelings do not lead to the path which the Legion would have you take. So if you're to share those feelings with others, that would be a sign of, in most days, most times, weakness, perhaps now treachery. That was what I feared. I left without speaking to anyone. Which now seems to play to my advantage because I have left no trail.
I need you to know you don't look as cool as you think you do right now.
Radiant still with the hand on the shoulder. Douglas seems to have just accepted at this point that Radiant's hand is going to be on his shoulder until he leaves.
I start to just massage his shoulder.
It's interesting that Radiant has ended up being the weirder one instead of I. For this particular round. You've actually been, for
I'm
you,
trying to style it
relatively
out.
Yeah.
Because I've realised how weird it is.
And it got to the point where, you know, sometimes where you're like touching someone or your arms, and you haven't decided when you can bring it round because I don't want to draw attention to the fact that I've just still got my hand on there. And we've had this entire conversation, and you've said all of those things, and I've had my hand there the entire time. So, I'm just going to start slowly just massaging to try and relieve tension.
Okay, roll me a sleight of hand check.
It's 13.
Okay. Initially, his whole shoulder turns to rock. The fact that you are now starting to, in a way that isn't sensuous, but certainly seems to be companionly, massage his shoulder. He is not into it, but you do a reasonable job and you return to neutral, essentially. You haven't done damage, but you certainly haven't ingratiated yourself particularly. I would rather you stopped.
We agreed on 500 gold, and that this inconvenience is included in that fee. Just.
Radiant, stop touching him. Radiant, stop touching him.
I sense tension in you.
No, Radiant, you're causing tension.
I should...
You can go.
Which tavern will you be in?
I rolled relatively high. I'm going to assume that at least give me the name of a tavern.
You would remember a tavern called the Coral Bones.
Well, the only place I remember is the Coral Bones.
Coral Bones.
Let's meet at that one.
I shall meet you at the Coral Bones.
Just keep saying Coral Bones like it's not weird.
I shall meet you tomorrow, around first light, and if you are not there, then I will return the next day. If you are not there the day after that, I will assume something has befallen you and I will take my leave of this town. I don't want to wait around here any longer than I have to.
Sounds fair.
As he turns and walks away and he gets far enough, just out of earshot, I turns to everyone and says,
I knows not all of you trusts him. If you thinks he needs a tail, says now.
No. You don't need to be wandering into readiness.
I is very stealthy and sneaky.
Not by yourself.
We need your...
I is actually statistically more stealthy and sneaky.
Alone.
I think we're good.
Okay.
We may need your skills.
Right.
I've got to go talk to someone about something. Anyone's welcome to join me at the tavern, but
I'll come with you to the tavern.
sure.
So Elowen's going to the tavern. Anyone else?
Coral Bones.
Coral Bones.
Who's going?
I'm going to
You're
Bones too.
Okay. Are you all going?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Is that where Dolly's meeting?
Well, it's where I'm going to go try and find out where this person might be.
And you make your way into Seascale proper. And the taverns in Seascale are not far from the water's edge. The fishing huts and the dry dock and the boats pulled up, either secured to jetties by ropes or pulled up on the black sort of stone of the edge
The water
of the
is still is fully black.
Yeah, so the water is... It is like it has been replaced by ink. You are looking at it in semi-darkness anyway, but you see that as it laps against the shore and further off as waves collide at the base of the white tower of the Sanctum, that even the spray looks black. The bubbles that form on it are black, and there's this sort of dank, rotting smell that is washing in sulphurous as the waves lap against the shore.
Did you not say you was going to get in?
Yeah, I thought you two were going to jump in together.
That was technically a private conversation. I don't think anyone heard it, but it was in the recap, so I really appreciate your listening.
I did not, pretends I did not hear that.
So you see the water, and the water is black. Roll me perception checks as you near the coral bones.
That one.
Now one.
I got that one.
Now one from Kellis.
It's very dark.
16 from Dolly.
13.
13 from Ella.
The hurting.
13 from Rahadion. What you hear with 13s is a bit of a commotion down by one of the jetties. And Dolly, what you see is a set of Dragonborn bringing in fishing nets. And the fish within the net seem to be thrashing around. And the Dragonborn are shouting to each other. They're shouting in Draconic, which you don't understand, but it seems to be sort of short-barked commands, increasingly panicked. With Nat 1s, I'm going to say, you two, unfortunately, the ones who speak Draconic just aren't tuned into this at all. You're thinking too much of a drink and maybe a warm bed and another toffee apple.
Where they walked off, where Dolus walked off. I'm like looking back, just kind
looking
of
back through what would be through 6 or 7 streets.
I'm just sort of thinking
what I can do. And you see one of the Dragonborn who's trying to sort of open the net and start to pull fish out. Another one grabs a knife from that one's belt and just slits the net, cuts the net open, and fish start to pour out. And in the center of this thing, there is a creature like a fish you have not seen. Beady eyes, a great maw of overlapping teeth, and it is eating the other fish. It is like gnashing, and there's fish entrails and heads flying everywhere, and the Dragonborn all start to stab into this fish.
I'll draw everyone's attention to it, be like, oh my god, that is hideous. Is that what's in the water now?
I don't know. Radiant, hey, can we eat that one? You seem to know all about weird things from rivers.
Licks it.
Please don't lick it.
Works last time.
I am not licking that.
No, we're not going
Good
anywhere
call.
near those Dragonborn.
Roll me perception checks again for our 2 Draconic speakers. Kelnus and I.
19.
19.
Finally, something.
19.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. So what
Right.
you both hear is as the Dragonborn are like returning, that their kind of breath is returning to normal after they've managed to kill this fish. You hear one puts the one who was trying to open the net, another puts their arm on, just puts their hand on their shoulder and says, "Chiron, we could not have saved the net. To save the net, you would have lost the entire catch." And Chiron says, "I know, but that is so... What are these things?" The first one says, "I don't know. They pulled another one out earlier this week. It is strange." And they're just looking round at this dead, black, great, toothy fish.
They does not know either. And this is not the first.
How far are they away?
They're 30 feet from you.
Radiant's going to walk up to them and go, Excuse me. I'm sorry to bother you.
Their heads turn to you. 4 Dragonborn.
That thing you just killed. I've never seen anything like it. What is it?
Roll me just a charisma check. Just a charisma check. No, don't worry about the skill.
That is a 17.
Okay. The one who spoke first so steps in front and says, "It came out of the water."
I'm sorry about the fish you took. It looks quite dangerous.
Strange thing since the water turned dark.
I've noticed. I'd always dreamed of swimming in Fathom one day, and I turn up and it looks like this.
You have come at a bad time. A strange time.
What do you mean strange?
He points at the fish. Strange.
While this is happening, I want to walk up and without speaking to them, just kneel down and have a good look at this fish and see if I can identify.
Roll me a nature or an investigation. I don't mind which.
7.
7. You have never seen a fish like this.
I have never seen a fish like this.
You've got your hood up still, right? And your cloak covers the majority of your scales.
But they can probably see my hand as I...
These are strange times indeed.
Strange times, as you say.
My friends and I, up the road a few days ago, we saw something equally strange.
What, from Blackwater?
No. From blue.
The Seraphine. Word seems to have travelled between those who travel the waterways.
My friends and I were just passing and we were attacked. Much in the same way that this thing seems to be attacking your fish.
It was a frog, batty fish thing.
I walks up. He licks it.
I'm just going nowhere near this. I couldn't be further back. This is ridiculous. That you three stepped forward.
We're supposed to be keeping.
Roll me. Okay. They rolled a 4. Yes. Well, strange times all over. Reliquia, it would appear. There is much to fear.
What are you going to do with it?
Throw it back.
It's dead.
That's why we'll throw it back. I don't wish to take this into my house. It is not good for meat. I do not trust it.
Could I take it?
You wish to take this?
Yes.
He's joking. That would be weird. That would be weird to do.
Who are you?
He's a scholar.
I take an interest in the strange things of the world.
Roll me deception with advantage, Radian. This is essentially you're giving him the help action, so Radian will roll twice and take the highest.
14.
14. You think you could find a place for this in a book?
I think I could help us understand these strange times.
He has a book. You can put the fish in it.
Well, if you wish to touch the thing, you touch the thing. I would. He has these big sort of like leather gloves over his scaled hands with which he's been handling this all of his catch. And you look around and you see that all the Dragonborn, all the fishermen seem to have these gloves on.
Can I do an investigation check to see if there's anything I can use to kind of like just pick the...
I would say within your pack you would there would just be stuff that you could use.
Great. So I'm just going to get some like a bit of fabric and
bundle it up.
Bundle it up.
Yep, absolutely.
I appreciate your time, and I'm sorry once again about your catch and your net.
Chiron is the one who suffered most, and Chiron is a kind of like a paler dragonborn than the others. They're sort of like bronze, but a kind of pale bronze, and he looks pretty cut up about it.
Sorry, it's gotta be hard for business.
I don't know why. I don't know what. It's like it's a punishment for something, perhaps. It's a godless world, isn't it? I suppose. I don't know.
Chiron, is it?
Yeah.
How much would one of your nets cost?
It would cost me. He examines. He's going to roll investigation, see what he thinks. Yeah. So he about 10 silver probably to get it fixed. 20 for a new one.
Here.
Get some money out of his pack. Do I have 20?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that you have small change between you, essentially.
Call that thanks for letting me study this fish.
Not as payment, but maybe if you feel so inclined, we're also looking for someone. You might know them, you might not. Bronze Dragonborn, Aska.
He puts his hand out for the coin, Chiron, looking at Dolly. Puts his hand out for the coin to Radiant. As you put the coin in his hand, his leather-gloved fist closes over it, and he says, runs pleasure cruises. Or did.
Right.
Points down an alleyway that sort of leads through a market. He says, beyond the market, just on the shore, that jetty shaped like a T, as in a kind of intersectional.
Pleasure cruises. Okay. Interesting. Thanks for the information.
Slow business for her at the moment,
I can imagine.
Well, thank you, whoever you are, scholar.
Missy.
Missy puts the coin in his thing, in his coin purse.
I'll let you know what I find out, if I manage to find anything.
Seems all sorts are drawn here now. And they return to their nets, start to go through their catch, figure out what's salvageable, what isn't.
Listen, I don't know what to think. But when I touched that last thing, something came to me. I just thought maybe.
When you touched it.
Yeah, Brilliant, you licked it.
I will lick it in private.
Eat it in your
Honey, that's a Ben Starr promise. You know what? We'll take a little break. Hi, I'm Adam Reed, purveyor of exciting quality products, fine festive information, and absolute #1 best top shagger. I'm 6'4", 99 kilos, and can deadlift my 4 girlfriends at the same time. Don't worry, they know. Everyone does. In my high school yearbook, I was voted most likely to die well, and during a short but turbulent stint as a semi-legal vigilante private investigator, I was nearly engaged to a woman who claimed to be half alligator. She's dead now. Or at least that's what she wants the law to think. Go well, Gabriella Sharptooth. These days I spend my time being legendary, looking good, and crafting small charm bracelets that I sell at any farmer's market who'll care to hear me yell, "Whoa, slow down, Adam." You'll not need to woo them, even though you can't help it if you did. It is your curse. You're here to talk about good deals, historic ones, limited ones, natural ones. Because for 1 month only, Natural 6 have a Patreon sale exclusively for new members. When you subscribe to the Vile tier or above, you'll be treated to 20% off for your first month. That's a steal. And when you join for the first time, you'll gain instant access to 62 pieces of delectable bonus D&D content, over 16 hours of additional Natural 6 material, including ad-free episodes, and early access to Action Search. Oh, Adam Reed. If you didn't woo them before, I'd bet your life and your devastatingly sharp jawline that you did just then. So, new members, there's no excuse not to join. Excessive amounts of content, 20% off the first month at patreon.com/natural6. Come on, let me give you more for less for a month. Please. We're back.
4 more weeks of winter.
Right. Well, that went well. Whatever we did, I wonder what was it. I don't actually know what the ad read would be at
Probably
this
something
point.
very funny.
It was very funny, and I think if I was in it, it was even better.
I don't think it's that one.
Okay.
No, it is.
Ooh.
It is. This is episode 20, isn't it?
It's episode 20.
It is. You were great.
This is great that we're guessing. They already know what it is. This is that the
They've seen
content
it.
is
Very odd, yeah. It's very odd. It's an odd way to start a second half. Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
Hi.
And the
So-
groundhog wasn't.
You are on the shores of Fathom. In Seascale, you've just had Radian bundle up this strange fish into some cloth and then place it inside his pack. And you've had it pointed out that Aska runs a pleasure cruise. She's over on the far side, the eastern edge of the town, through the market, next to a T-shaped jetty.
Well, that was the information I was going to go to the tavern for, but, I mean, we're going to need rooms anyway, so...
Yeah, maybe we leave some of you there. Like, genuinely, do you not know how dangerous this is? You're all just running around doing whatever you want. People are looking for us.
At least he didn't slicks it, so.
That is true. Thank goodness for small mercies. What kind of time is it right now?
It is now about 5:30 in the evening. So it's dark by now.
What do you want to do? Rest up for the night?
Maybe. I mean, sounds like the business isn't going that well anyway, but I can't imagine you get many callers at 5:30 p.m., so maybe I'll go and give a knock first thing in the morning.
Well, don't forget we're meeting Dolly at first light.
That's true.
I think we should just speak now.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that makes more sense. I think I'm just nervous.
Do you want us to be there?
This incredible full entourage of people that we're offering you.
You can hide me in a knapsack.
You know, as tempting as that is, I think I'll be okay. As the rest of you can come if you want, but this is just an old friend, maybe. Acquaintance, yeah. I'll be fine. I'll see what I can do.
Count me in.
slinging
fish?
that
Is that
thing
the
on your
fish that you
back.
just slung over
Don't
yourself?
don't you have a fish to go and lick somewhere?
Yeah, I thought you were going to go lick that in private.
I'll look it later.
And that's a Ben Starr promise. Okay, so who is going to seek out Asker with Dolly?
No.
Radiant Thornbear. And the other three of you are going to do what?
I'll go with you, but not if we're going to be a crowd. So I think if we're all going to go, I'd find something else to do.
I want to just keep to the shadows and just move around and kind of get a sense of the place. You know, the layout of the whole thing, and sort of if I can sense if there's any sort of deeper issues going on here. You know, just sort of like it's a little just sort of a scouting of the area, basically.
Essentially, there's like the dock area with the taverns surrounding it, and then there are other streets that have that you've already passed through that have predominantly houses, or other areas that have predominantly shops. Where are you focusing this attempt to get the lay of the land? Because I'm going to say it's tricky to. It would take you a long time to walk around the entire town.
Back down to the dock area.
Yeah.
You know, I understand Draconic, you know.
And are you moving stealthily? You're trying to sustain this?
It's not like I'm absolutely trying to see. I'm basically just moving as though no one would pay attention to me, and I'm just sort of, I wanted to see if I can overhear.
Inconspicuous rather than hiding.
Yeah, ready to hide if need be.
Okay, roll me perception check, please.
It's gone so well with a 2.
Okay, so you go back to where you were, and it is as it's as you left it. You only took a few sort of steps towards the market. The market is closed, and the fishermen are still the fisher people are still sorting out that catch. Cal and Elowen, what do you? I know that Elowen is. I kind of need to know whether or not you're actually going. At the moment, you're sort of telling me you're thinking about going, but are you actually going to sort of go with?
Yeah, go on, I'll come with you.
Okay. What are you doing, Cal?
I think is everybody going with Dolly?
So at the
far?
moment, Radian is going with Dolly, and Elowen is going to sort of, in the same way that you tend to keep your distance but make sure everything's okay, Elowen's doing that for Radian and Dolly as they go to find Asker. I is sort of trying to get the lay of the land where you are, which is still in the dock area.
Hi, what are you doing?
I does not know. I just wants to make sure that we does not miss anything before we leaves.
You know what? You're right. I've got this big fish to lick. I think you can go and do this by yourselves. I'm going to go and get some rooms, head back to where it is, see if we can get some rooms for us. Let me know what you find out. Anyone want to come with me that way, that's what I'll do.
I love the idea of you just sat alone by yourself in a tavern room licking a fish and having a trance.
So Radian's going to go and check for rooms. Just let me know what everyone wants to do.
I'm going to go with Radiant.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll go.
Aye.
Radiant then.
Cool. So Radiant, I, and Kel, a little bit set back from the docks themselves and the jetties and that sulphurous, rotten smell that seems to be coming off the lake, are small little squares, nothing like Oratory Square in Yannick that seemed very much to be a formal place, a formal town square. This is more just sort of clusters of buildings with little sort of courtyards in the centre, and you find you pass a couple. You pass a place called the Rich and Strange, and you pass a place called the Pearl Eyes. You are looking, I assume, for the one which Elowen remembered, and you find the Coral Bones. And the pardon?
Coral bones. We just keep saying it.
Oh, good. It's from Shakespeare. It looks to be. Roll me perception checks on your way, the three of you.
12.
12.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
10.
10. With a 10 and a 12, this is a pretty standard winter evening in a town. People closing up shops. There is all manner of things you can buy here. It's not a big city. It's not an exhaustive supply of things, but exactly the basics that you'd expect. with more of a focus on maritime stuff. So boots and oil, like oil skins that you could place over that would kind of keep the water off you, and then places where you can buy nets and kind of artisans who would make things for you.
Seashell necklaces.
Seashell necklaces, yeah. It's very kind of barley. It's very.
They sell rock candy.
Very spiritual, yeah. Rock candy, yeah. Fine.
Is there anything?
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Is there anything in the way of like potions store?
Yeah, there'd be an apothecary where you could buy
Great.
stuff. As I say, everything's closing.
It's closing. Yeah. I would like to. I turns to Radiant Incandescent and just says,
I will meet you at the store. At the inn.
and I would like to head over to the apothecary, and I'd like to just see if I just poke my head in and see if there's anyone in there just sort of closing up.
Roll me a perception check.
8.
8. If they are in there, you can't see them. They have like quite a high part of the wall, and then the windows are kind of reasonably small. Apothecaries sometimes do this, that if they're in areas where there's going to be lots of direct sunlight flooding in through the windows, it can affect the quality of potions to sit in direct sunlight, like, much like you would with wine or generally oils, particularly anything that's scented, it will lose some of that. So they're quite small windows and doesn't really give you a position to see far into the room. It does seem to be, well, it is locked though.
Okay. Yeah, fine then. I'll just turn around and go back then.
Okay. With an 18, which I believe you rolled on your perception.
Dirty 20.
A dirty 20, I apologise. You, as you're sort of taking everything in, you just notice that there are fish sellers and traders who are putting things away for the day, preparing to, they'll have to set up again in the morning. And you notice that quite a few of the boats and quite a few of the trading places seem short-stocked, or as if there is less of a roaring, you get the impression there is less of a roaring trade here in things to do with the lake itself than there used to be. Let's handle the two of you who are heading towards Asker's. You've been told where to go, Dolly. It's a very simple set of instructions. And you walk through a marketplace, again, mainly clearing up now. Some people sort of scrubbing down pallets and sort of tables where wares would have been displayed. But through that market, it quietens a little. No taverns on this edge of Seascale, and so you're in smaller little clusters of buildings, all of them quite pleasant, mostly 2 stories, overlooking the lake. Would be quite desirable properties in certain situations, but less so now.
I'm just going to head on up to the house that was pointed out, knock on the door.
Yeah.
So as with all the other buildings, even in the darkness that's fallen now, you can see that this place is lime washed and terracotta tiled. And you see a candle, like a flickering flame inside a jar to protect it from the wind. And it's sat on a little side table on a shaded wooden porch. And next to it is a glass and a decanter. And with their back to you, facing out towards the water, you see a wide-brimmed hat and the back of a scaly neck sat on a wicker bit of garden furniture, essentially looking out over the lake.
I'm just gonna slowly approach and
Just before you do that, you sure we can trust them? Like, are they in the web?
No. I mean, I knew them from my time before the web. Just before. I won't say the life we had then was much better, but she always had more wholesome ideals than the rest of us, or at least where she wanted to end up, and it looks like it worked out for her, so out of everyone I used to run with, she wouldn't be the worst.
What an incredible review.
That's as good as you're gonna get out of me.
Well, Good luck.
Yeah, I'm just gonna walk up and say, "Here, you're down on your luck, Aska. It's not like you. Usually make your own."
And she turns to you. And she looks just as you remember. Bronze Dragonborn, a face that is given to easy and frequent smiles. She has this kind of fabulous, what you see now is like it seems to be covered in satin or made of satin, but with like a wire brim beneath so that she can sort of adjust it into various angles. And instinctively picks up the glass and turns to you and goes, Dolly. Oh, darling.
I had hoped you'd end up here.
Darling! What a wonderful surprise! Oh my goodness, come and sit, come and sit. And she gestures you over to the other part of this sort of raffia wicker two-seat sofa where she's placed these homespun looking cushions.
Just the one glass?
You're absolutely right. Look, wait here. I want to hear I want to hear absolutely everything. She disappears into a house, 2-story house. You can hear her bustling around. Do you want to wait for her? You just want to wait for her to come out? You can hear as she's opening various things, and she comes out and she has this very beautiful... She's drinking from like a tumbler, but she brings you out a tumbler, and she also brings you out like a champagne saucer style glass. She said, I haven't really got anything with fizz, but I do remember you were rather particular about what you drank from.
A little bit. I'm glad you remembered.
A little snifter?
Of course, always.
Gosh, it's good to see you. And she pours you, it's like, roll me a nature check with advantage. Aska kind of always sort of really drinks the same things. 11 with advantage.
Oh, no. 11.
It looks to be some kind of fortified wine, very, very berry forward, very sort of autumnal and, like with many Dragonborn, like spiced.
Mm-hmm. It's 5:30 somewhere. This is my friend Elwyn, by the way.
Oh!
I don't mean to interrupt.
No, fabulous. The more the merrier. How marvellous. Elwyn. Oh. Well, you better come quickly then.
Thank you.
Why don't we come inside?
Yeah.
And she...
Oopsie poopsie.
She ushers you into, like off the decking and into this large living room with various chairs. It all looks like very nice pieces have been picked up at various flea markets or sometimes even antique. Nothing matches, but everything is really very good. There's a big rug, there's a fire that she's lit on the far side of the wall, and there's a really, really well-stocked shelf of various lotions. You will remember that Aska is... to say she's vain would be unfair, but she really constantly hated that she was getting older and was complete. You have no idea how old Aska is, because as close as you might ever be, she will never tell you. It is nobody's business. And she always has done everything in her power to continue to be as youthful as possible. And you recognize one or two of these little kind of bottles as ones that she would carry in her pack with her wherever she went, and that there was an extremely elaborate hydration and exfoliant and cleansing routine that would go on, and these extremely expensive little things would be applied in minute amounts to just
Serums
the right areas,
and
serums and the whole lot. There's a rocking chair, a really beautiful rocking chair, and then there is a large leather sofa which looks like it's kind of waxed and oiled, so it's lush. It's this dark, rich red that is shining in the firelight. Everything is ordered. Everything is placed for a reason.
Everything Everything's just worked out exactly the way you wanted it to.
Well, you know, sometimes when the gods smile on you, the gods smile on you.
This place is beautiful.
Oh, thank you, darling. You're too kind. Really, well, it's just the sort of thing that one accrues over a lifetime of ill-gotten gains and a misspent youth.
I do remember those quite well. There was the time that you, the poet of the poet.
Well, we won't. It seems sacrilegious now. But what Dolly's referring to, my dear, Elowin, wasn't it? Well, can I get you something to drink? What would you like?
Wine, anything, quite frankly.
Marvelous.
I'll stick with what I have.
Should we get how much of a? Is she a connoisseur? I'm not going to waste.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You want something Escalon?
Elven, 100%.
Yeah. Right. And she she opens a.
Should give you a run for your money, Aska, to be honest.
Really?
Anything but the lemon.
Oh God, it's dreadful stuff, isn't it?
Bad.
No, I always have to keep some in case we have particularly ridiculous company. But I'm very glad to say I haven't opened it in an awfully long time. Now, and she opens a side door, and you can see within it. This is her sort of slightly guilty cupboard where everything is an absolute fucking mess, and there's various bits of like fishing gear and all sorts of stuff. But she goes up to a shelf and she pulls out a bottle of. A sort of like a chilled bottle of like looks to be like a rosé adjacent kind of coloured wine, and pours something for you and says, "See what you think of that."
I have a sip, and I genuinely think it's one of the best things I've ever tasted.
It's really, really good. And what she does is she then goes, I'll tell you what goes well with it. And she goes back into that cupboard and she brings out a few little sugared almonds with tiny little rose petals and tiny little things on there, little figs and dried dates, like almost like sweet canapes that just somehow she's managed to pick a combination of things that work with both of what you're drinking. And she lays them out in this little silver tray on a table in the centre and says, please, please, it's marvellous to have guests. Well, Dolly's being rather indiscreet when she talks, but I had you shouldn't really, because I don't know people and you're giving me a terrible first impression.
These people, don't worry.
I
I've seen worse.
I for a while was a rather successful poet of grace.
I told you, anyone can pretend to be one.
Well, anyone can pretend to be one, but not anyone can pretend to be one successfully.
You were pretty good at it, to be fair.
I was rather impressive.
Well, I guess that explains from what I've seen in Vale, that explains your incredible eclectic taste.
They're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun in Vale. You must go if you ever have the chance.
We did pass by briefly, but it wasn't the time.
Fun isn't exactly what I call Vale at the moment.
Oh,
No.
what? They're sad, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, they do get sad.
The whole god death thing, yeah.
Goodness.
Tell me everything. What have you been doing? When did you find yourself here?
Well, I came here for my I came here when I felt like I'd run my course with those we know and those we're trying to forget. And I thought, well, where would I like to go most in the world? And I'd always talked about Fathom and a little sailing and a little fishing and a few nice dinner parties and an opportunity to read some good books and take in the sights and sounds and sense of the world. And so, last 5 years or so, here I am.
Have you been back to Burn since?
No, very little takes me to the city these days. I don't miss it. I thought I'd crave it. I thought the hustle and the bustle was in my blood, but it seems blood might be thicker than water, but it seems that wine's thicker than blood. So.
No, the second you leave the city, you just feel that blood pressure drop.
Oh, God. I wake up in the morning, I don't worry about anything. Things have been...
Can't relate,
Yeah,
honestly.
wish we could say the
really?
same.
Well, by all accounts, you've had a rather interesting few months. Sweetheart, what on earth have you got yourself into? And she lays her scaled hand on top of yours.
Yeah, just out of the frying pan into the fire, that kind of deal, you know.
You can say that again.
I mean, obviously, tales of our god-killing prowess have been exaggerated somewhat. But we're on our way to remedy that. Or at least try to.
Right.
The old gang members, you haven't Scout, Pin, Magda, any of those guys?
No. I mean, not really since I left. I mean, I know Magda was looking to start Well, she wanted to start a patisserie at one point, but I haven't heard anything about it. I mean, and you're the first one I've seen since I left.
Yeah, well, I saw Indy.
How is the boy? He was such a sweet boy.
Yeah, he was always a little bit too sweet for that line of work.
Yes, he was.
Wasn't really cut out for it.
He's all right though, is he? He's well.
No, not really.
Where did you see him?
Last I saw, he was being dragged away into the Burren jail, but
Oh, by the 9.
maybe he'll be okay.
He really did a number on a lot of us, didn't he? When he
How much do you know about that last job?
roll me an insight check.
I'm actually going to start like almost wandering around looking at the place. So I almost feel like I don't want to listen to
Great.
this conversation.
Great, okay.
So it's not like I'm just going to wander around
Sort
and
of
look at
distracted.
things.
So
Yeah.
what you see is like you've grown. I can't remember the name of your cook back home, but your cook was very, very good, and you know that the cook at Yannick was very, very good, and you've overheard conversations about various spices and how expensive they are and how difficult they are to purchase, and there's various oil infusions and there's various dried herbs and it's like a treasure trove for people who like the finer things in life. Sophisticated flavors, sophisticated scents. Everything's expensive. Each bottle seems to have been individually found in a different place. Nothing matches. Everything is gorgeous. Different stoppers, different shapes, different colors of glass. And that's what you're looking at and taking in. What was your insight?
11.
11. Yeah. Well, I didn't. I wasn't in. I had a sense of what was going on. I mean, much to my. I think I was the one who first introduced him to it. Was that what?
I mean, he got this idea in his head, you know, Somnium, and this was the great plan to supersede the web in the city. I was the one that gave him that information through Silas.
Oh, really?
I gotta sit with that for a very long time.
Darling, this isn't your fault. But we were all. I know that you and he had something. Well, I
thought we did.
Well, yes, I knew that there was something slightly different, but it's you know, God, he had his own mind. He let a lot of people down. That's not your fault. I mean, he proved himself to be beyond untrue to all of us.
Didn't sell all of us out, though, did he?
No. And I'm sorry, darling. I should have said something. I didn't know. You know what? You know me. What could I do? I'm not much of a fighter, am I? And when I asked where you'd gone, and well, he said we'd speak about it the next day, and then that was it. I never saw him.
No one's seen him.
You're all right, are you?
Getting better. I'm out of the web now.
Can't pin you down, can they?
They'll keep trying. We'll see.
She puts her hand, she takes both her hands in yours and she says, if I'd have known that one seemingly inconsequential night where I introduced him to Somnium, that would have led to all of this, I swear, by the 9, I would never have done it. It was meant to be a bit of fun. And I'm sorry that it all got so carried away, and I'm sorry more than anything about what happened to you, but you're here now.
It's not your fault. Like you said, he had his own mind.
No, I know, but we will carry our guilt, don't we?
It's never the same after that. Part of me wants to know, was it that? Or was it... I just want to know if he's sorry for what he did.
It changes people, dear. I wouldn't expect miracles.
I need to know. Anyway, sorry. Bring all that down on me.
No.
Figure from the past show up at the door and
I'm glad to know you're all right, more than
laying
anything.
all that on your doorstep.
Could hardly write to you, could I? Care of the web.
No. Yeah, well, it's been an interesting time since then, too, I have to say.
What is all this nonsense I hear about dying gods?
So I've sort of wandered back over at this point. I can sort of feel the conversation tone has shifted a little bit. So I'll wander back over and I'll just sort of shoot you a little bit of a glance, a bit of a you okay look. And I'll sort of just go back over.
Yeah, so, and I'll explain
Yeah.
everything up to this point.
Roll me insight as you tell her the whole story. You can do this with advantage. I think
Nat 20.
Nat 20, there's no need. You can sense that as much as Asker is horrified by it, it's such a good story.
It is a good story.
And she's just kind of reveling in it, and she's a fantastic audience. And so you feel yourself, even as you're telling the story, warming to the task a little bit.
Well, with someone that I feel like with a bit of a kinship with, I'm being a little bit more dramatic about it than I might necessarily.
There are some
be, like.
flourishes in there, and she gasps at all the right moments, goes, no, surely not. And then he was there. And you find yourself essentially recounting your story that led you here as well. She's particularly horrified by Morgan, gasps at all the right things, sheds a tear as you describe the Grenweirds waving away. Elowyn, she's a captive audience and a marvellous one for it. And now you're here.
Yeah, that pretty much that's everything up till now. And I mean, I'd love to say this was just a social call, but
Never is, love.
I just want to ask a favor. And it's not an insignificant one. I mean, we've seen the water. I imagine things are tough at the minute.
Well, tougher than you know. I mean, I can't even get out on there at the moment.
You can't get out there.
No, the chart. My chart. So you would know that each Dragonborn, or she explains, in fact, that each Dragonborn who goes out on the... You cannot buy a map or a chart of Fathom. It is for each Dragonborn over the course of their lifetime to chart the strange currents, the rocks, the sudden patches where the sudden areas where suddenly the depth of the lake changes and you can run aground seemingly in the middle of the lake. That is such guarded and careful information, and each Dragonborn who wishes to make their living as a fisher or as doing pleasure cruises, or as she explained, she used to do some ferrying for Readiness. She used to ferry recruits from Readiness over to the Sanctum. They make their own chart over the course of their career, and hers, she says, I mean, I've turned this place upside down 3 or 4 times. I can't find it.
Well, that puts a wrinkle in what I was going to ask you. So...
You want something...
We gotta go to the Sanctum.
Oh, darling, you don't want to go at the moment. It's hellish.
That's the only way we can think of to clear our names. We need to speak with Parvis. He's one of the only creatures that knows what actually happened up there. And we feel like maybe if we can talk to him, there's just gotta be some way to put an end to this. We can't go our entire lives hiding, cowering.
God. She leans and she says, you can still... this gang you're traveling with, this bunch, lovely to meet you. They,
Gang's a strong word.
They're capable though, are they?
Yeah, they are. More importantly, they're trustworthy.
Well, that's excellent.
I don't throw that word around lightly.
No. You see, I have a suspicion where the chart may be, but you know me, I'm not on the a knock on the door confrontational type, nor am I particularly adept at sneaking in and out of the shadows. But there was a chap about a month ago, less than that, perhaps a fortnight, said he just bought the cabin over there. And she points out the window, and right down on the water's edge is a cabin. No lights, no lamps lit inside the windows.
That?
Yeah, he's bought that. And he said, he came over and we sat on the porch and we had a little drink and we had a little chat, and he bought some flint ale. I don't normally touch this stuff, but it was strong. It was very strong. And I think we got talking about what I do and about the chart, and I don't really remember much after that. Anyway, I woke and, I can't find it since, and I wondered whether perhaps there might be... I wouldn't like to cast aspersions, but I'm sort of trying to put 2 and 2 together, and I can't help but find 4.
What do you want with your chart?
Well, the chart's a livelihood. He could read it, then he has access to everything I have.
You want us to go take a look?
Well, I'd be much obliged if you would.
It's the least I could do. If we do that, is there any chance you could help us out? We don't need to go in the front door. There is another way.
Another way into the Sanctum? I don't think there is, darling. Not that I'm aware of.
No, but this isn't common knowledge, but we have word from someone who is part of the Legion who swears that there is...
You don't want to be associating yourself with the Legion, not at all.
No, we absolutely don't. But this person was leaving. We offered him a substantial amount of money to temporarily change his mind. And he's going to find another way in for us. I know what you're going to say. I'm not taking my eyes off him for a second.
No, don't, please. No, certainly not aboard the vessel. I mean, he could do irreparable damage with a wrong hand placed on the tiller. You sure you trust this chap?
No, but that's why I'm coming to ask you for help.
And she looks at you, and there is a moment where there's the veneer that she's making a decision. She goes, how could I possibly say no to that face? Come on, of course. Go and get the chart. I mean, if it's not there, I don't know where it is. We'll have to start to find someone else's, probably.
We'll find it. I have someone in particular in mind that... Oh, he'll love this. He'll relish the chance to sneak around in the dark. Might even get a toffee apple for his troubles. Anyway, this has been really nice.
Well, it has been. Where are you staying?
I think we were going to go for some rooms at the tavern.
Well, it's a bit of a risk to be out in the town, don't you think?
Yeah, but, well...
Well, I mean, I've just got the one spare upstairs. I mean, you're very welcome.
I don't want to put you out any more than I already have.
Well, I mean, you've already potentially... You're asking me to sail you across Fathom with an unknown potential double agent of the Fortis Legion to a secret area which not only do I not know, I should not have knowledge of, at a time at which the Fortis Legion, far from being a strange sort of guard of a seemingly impassable citadel, has now become a roaming military force. I think the fact that you stay the night is probably the least of my concerns.
Fairness to her, Dolly, it's an excellent summary.
She knows I'm used to getting my way, so...
Well, come on, the more the merrier. I haven't cooked for a crowd in an awfully long time.
That sounds fun. And she does love to cook.
I'm more than happy to not eat tavern food for at least one night.
You're all right with pomegranate, are you, darling?
Absolutely.
Right, because I like to sprinkle.
You're going to get along with Kel famously.
Back at the Coral Bones.
I can't wait to sleep here tonight.
The three of you find the Coral Bones Tavern. It looks pretty nice. I mean, it stands to reason that in fact, you came here as Indelian, didn't you?
Yes.
Right. So, it's a perfectly serviceable place. Seems to be frequented by Dragonborn and a couple of non-Dragonborn, but predominantly it's a Dragonborn crowd here.
I'll walk straight up to the person at the bar and say, we're looking for a good room.
4 beds, if possible.
4 beds in the one room.
It can be spread out over multiple rooms.
Oh, because of course each room costs you more money. I can't do 4. You can't just push a load of beds in one room. There won't be room for all the beds in the room.
That's okay.
I don't need a bed.
Oh. Well. Well.
Does that
What's
impress you?
this noise?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a very young man to be so many big ideas.
I have seen very many things.
Clearly.
He's impetuous.
Pardon?
He's impetuous.
He's
Impetuous. I've already been drinking.
No, so have I, clearly.
Sorry to...
I haven't had to make a gear change like this for a while in the voice, you know.
Vibe over
Slightly
time,
overshot the runway, I think, a little.
No.
He's impetuous.
Are you okay, sir?
Well, of course. Of course. Welcome. You are welcome to the Coral Bones.
I can't quite place the accent.
I've been all over. Wherever I lay my heart, that's my home.
It's fascinating. It's from all over. You've travelled much, I say.
Travelled much and greatly. 1 bed, 4 rooms.
That one person who comments on the accents on YouTube is going to...
I'm going to reach out my arm and place it on his shoulder.
I'm going to put my hand on Radiant's thigh to give him the help action.
I'm gonna put my hand on I's shoulder.
This is why I was like, do I want to go with them or do I want to go with you? And this is essentially why I've ended up with you.
Hold the line.
Helping.
What can I do for you then? Well, I've lost track of where we are.
Are you okay?
Yeah, just been a long day.
You can tell us about it if you want.
I think I'm really surprisingly sleepy for how long I've been normal feeling. Just let me see if there's anyone else who can help.
Can you smell burnt toast? Do you have pain in your left arm?
Oh, God. Comes back,
But I've still got my hand, so you're moving away.
They're moving away, yeah. Well, wait a minute. Lavinia, and a copper dragonborn walks over. Do you want to go and have a little sit down? Well, that's the thing about it. Go and get yourself a little stool in the back and have a little bit better of the minute, have a little drink, or maybe have a facial fresh air. Just a lungful of the good fresh air. It's smelly out there tonight. And they head into the back. Oh my God. Right, what can I do for you?
Is he okay?
And I don't think so, but I think he probably will be.
Where's his accent from?
I don't know. I don't think it's very well. It doesn't actually work here. I don't know why he was stood behind the bar. I've never seen him before in my life. Oh my God. I don't know why I've let him go out the back.
Do you want us to go and get him?
I'll go get him. See his face. You all right, lads?
We've lost it. It's unravelling before our very eyes.
All right, lads. Cold night tonight. You want something to warm you up or something?
Sorry, I'm so sorry. What's your name?
My name's Amalius.
And do you run this place?
Yeah, it's my establishment. Me and my wife there. Gone after that person.
Right, there are no more tiny shots of espresso being taken at the table during ever again.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you're all right, mate. What can I do you for?
As I was telling your colleague, who turns out to be your I'm not sure if you're aware. But do you like separate tariffs for rooms or something?
Yeah, so basically just like occupancy laws, like licensing and stuff. So we've got a couple of 2s. We got like a family room. That's 3. We can put a pull out in it, make it 4.
That would be great. We'd love that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's fine. It's like a double, a single, and then a pull out. So someone's gonna have to share.
That's absolutely fine.
Yeah, that's fine then. can do that for you there, no problem.
Wonderful.
That's a gold for a family room. They're dead expensive. It's a really nice room though. You can see over the lake.
Gold seems quite expensive.
Yeah, but you can see over the lake. Do you know what I mean? Also, it is like it's off season. It's normally 2 gold.
It's night time.
Yeah, I know that, mate, but it's still there. That's not my if you can't.
No room to work.
Yeah, I
only used it at night.
I don't charge you more during day to sleep in it. 'Cause if you're sleeping during the day, you shut the curtains. You won't see it when your eyes are shut. Like if you don't follow that logic, the whole model collapses. And his wife appears. She's like, he's gone. I wonder if he was even real.
Listen, I was wondering, and I don't want to put you out, but considering we've just had a bit of an ordeal with one of your customers trying to fleece us out of some rooms, we'd love it if potentially it's already getting late. You could do a room at a discount.
I can do it for I suppose it is it looks like no one else is going to be taking up the family room. You can do it for 8 silver if you want. That's 2 silver reduction on face value. That's not bad.
You can do something a little bit better.
I don't know why I'm suddenly trying to barter with you. This is how much the room costs, Cockle. Roll me a persuasion check flat. It's been a weird night.
It's a 3.
It's a 3. Look, if you don't want it for 8 silver, you can get separate rooms, but it might end up costing you just as much by the time you've all kicked in.
Honestly, I appreciate your time, and I'm sorry that I've put you out. We'd love to take the room.
Right, it's 8 silver.
Can we not negotiate with the first man?
It won't work here, lad. Doesn't even go here.
Anything from Mean Girls quote. Doesn't even go here.
So while you're negotiating, Askus said, you're absolutely fine to.
Have we headed back across to tell them to come to ask us? I think maybe.
Do we have to?
Or just leave them there. Leave them to it.
Roll me a luck check, and if you roll high, you'll get there just before the money changes hands.
Yeah, no, it's 11.
It's 11. Okay, so it's over 10. It's over 10. That's all it was. Just a binary. It's a binary coin flip. As you're going to put this 8 silver into this Dragonborn's hand, the door opens, and which one of you, or is it both of you?
I'll leave you there because you're having the time of your life.
It's Owen.
Yeah. Boys, come on. Got somewhere else to stay tonight. We don't need to be at the Coral Bones.
Sorry, what's going on? We're not staying here.
I'm not staying here.
Okay, I'm so sorry to bother you. Thank you so much for your time. It seems that we're needed elsewhere.
No, come on.
I wanted a hot chocolate.
I've got better.
Better than hot chocolate.
Better than hot chocolate.
A room with a view of the sea.
Okay.
It's dark. You can't see anything.
This is what I said.
No, that's not a fair parameter by which to judge a room.
Anyway, look, thank you for your time. Right, come on, quickly, now, please, because I've given up wine for this.
So sorry. Thank you so much.
Taking all the coin.
Thank you.
Pick up a sack with a fish in it.
Yeah, it's like sliming a little bit.
Checks in on your friend.
Yeah, I will.
Friend.
There was we will tell you about it on the way.
So you head back out into the town of Seascale, and Elwyn leads you towards Askus.
So he thinks he might have been having a moment.
What do you mean a moment?
It's difficult to explain.
We thought we were negotiating with someone who was looking after the place, and then it turns out they didn't look after the place. It turns out they didn't even work there at all, and they ran. Maybe they stole some money.
And they stopped being able to speak as well.
So were you just talking to a random person?
I don't even know if what we was doing was talking, to be honest.
We were trying to kind of figure out what his deal was, and he just kind of got slower and slower and slower, like he was breaking down in real time.
I mean, you do have that effect on people.
I know, I find myself intensely boring, but this was just remarkable to see.
Look, when we get to where we're going...
tried to help, and it makes it worse.
Wait, you all tried to help?
Yes, we kind of formed a train where we all held each other.
We thought...
Help isn't an energy that transfers between people.
For the purposes of D&D,
No, you do this.
For those listening, a small Jedi-esque handshake.
Yeah, these aren't the droids you're looking for.
Look, we're going to a friend of Dolly's. Mm-hmm. They're really nice. They're very interesting. Radiant, that's not a challenge. You don't challenge them to be more interesting than them. don't touch anything.
Fine.
Don't eat anything unless they tell you you can eat it. Don't embarrass me. I quite like this friend of Dolly's.
Elowin, at some point I am going to need to lick this fish.
And I would like some hot chocolate.
I will get you chocolate. We will lick the fish at the appropriate time for licking the fish.
If it puts any of you off, I'm happy to do it privately when no one else can see, but if anyone would like to watch me lick the fish.
I would like to
you
watch.
lick the fish.
You know what? Maybe you should stay here. And actually, we need you for something. We've got a task for you,
Normally I would feel like I'm happy about this, but the circumstances make me feel uneasy.
You are really learning your words.
Yes, I is trying.
You are doing very well. Anyway, just try not to embarrass Dolly. I think we might actually need this person's help.
Okay. While they're making
And
their
leave the
way,
fish outside.
while they're making their way back across town, is there anything in particular that you and Asker are gabbing about? Anything you want to know?
I think we're just gabbing about just the past. I'm just like, how did you even get 14 guinea fowl for that particular scam? I mean, that was...
Well, they weren't all guinea fowl, but you can really make any sort of small poultry bird look like guinea fowl if you apply the right finishing touches.
I knew, see, it's all about the details.
3 of them were ptarmigan. He didn't bloody know.
Who does know the difference, unless you're right up close to them?
And as you're sort of mid-story, Elowin opens the door and
And I just sort of, as I open the door, I look at you and I just mouth the word, I'm sorry.
We come in
Hot.
In a train. I at the front where it's just like it's going down like that.
If for any reason you didn't believe Dolly, when you see the rest of us, you will fully understand that we could not have possibly killed gods.
what? So, hello, everyone. He's you're precious. You're absolutely...
I is me.
Hello,
Me.
me.
This is I.
Yes.
It's fine.
This is Dolly.
Me is I.
You is, yes. Oh, very good, yes, very droll. You're lovely. Would you like to sit down? Are you hungry?
He's always hungry.
Does you have the toppy apples?
Use your words.
Does you have the
Anything sweet.
Oh, we can do something sweet for you.
hot chocolate?
What did I say?
Do a hot chocolate? Of course we can
This
do a
is-
hot chocolate.
Introduce yourself first.
Chase. Steve Chase.
No, this is Kelness.
Oh.
Hello, Kelness. Hello, Steve. Lovely to meet both facets of you.
I was told to leave the fish outside. I'm aware that I still have the fish in here. I promised a lot of my friends that I was going to lick it and have a little test.
We don't need to know the story of the fish.
What kind of fish have you got?
It's not even a fish.
You've not got one of those horrible things they've dragged out of
Yeah.
fur.
Yes.
You ought to be very careful with that. You saw they're wearing gloves.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, well, he licks them.
I would not lick.
we were going to watch him.
I would not lick this fish.
That's like a red flag to a ball. What do you mean?
Well, they wear the gloves because there's something in the creature that is corrosive, or it has an effect on the body. This is why they're having to get rid of entire catches. Some people are burning the nets that these fish are caught in. They're not. It's not right.
Oh, and you were going to lick it. Great, marvellous.
That's not a
Look,
challenge.
far be it from me to yuck anyone's yum. If that's something that you're interested in trying, then be my guest. But I would suggest you need some sort of medical support on hand.
Leave the fish outside.
He's not going to heal you.
Does you has any bottles with stoppers?
She gestures to this this apothecary style.
I can has one.
You can have one for what?
I pulls out his knife and
I would like to maybe try and get some of the juice of this fish.
Oh, adorn a weapon with some... That's a fascinating idea. Oh, of course. I mean, you'd need one with quite a wide mouth then, wouldn't you? You wouldn't want to...
A fish with a wide mouth.
A bottle, darling, with a wide mouth. You wouldn't want anything...
Mouths don't use mouths. Bottles don't has mouths.
It's a very...
You can see why it's been a taxing few months.
Why don't I pick a bottle for you? And she picks out this sort of white... It's almost like a bowl, but it has like a a sort of really quite fat stopper, almost the size of your clenched fist. So it's very shallow and very flat, and it gives you a wide area in which to try and extract some whatever the hell is in this fish without getting it on you and having it sort of pour down the side of the bottle. I'd rather you didn't do it in the house.
This is understandable.
We'll do it at the back.
You want to help?
I'm still thinking about licking it.
I will still watch.
Don't do it on the porch, go on the grass.
Okay.
And don't be seen. You're very strange.
That's Radiant, by the way.
Hi, Radiant. I'm Asker.
Nice to meet you.
And he tells me in a minute what he wants me to do.
You go outside.
Yeah.
What are you going to try and do, the two of you?
So what I'm going to do is try and secretly lay the fish out, just to see it and find a place that has kind of some light. Imagine the lights going down.
Yeah,
in the area.
yeah, it is. It is dark out. You have dark vision. Both of you do. So you can see in darkness like it is dim light. So essentially it constantly looks like dusk to you. And there is a little moonlight which illuminates the night. So I will say, you can see what you're doing. It would be difficult to differentiate between kind of shades of colour, were there much.
I'd love to, because I haven't had a proper look at this fish before. Like I've seen it, but I'd like to properly investigate it.
Okay, right.
And I'm not going to lick it.
Are you touching it, or are you sort of prodding at it and sort of trying to open it with some kind of implement?
Yeah, I'd like to prod at it with some sort of implement.
Yeah.
But I'd first like to kind of almost like see if there's anything I can see when I first examine it, if anything comes to me, that sort of thing.
Great. Roll me an investigation check.
That is a 15.
Okay. You are confident you have never seen this before.
Yeah.
You do not know what this is.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the same biology as bat frog.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the same biology as fish and creatures of Reliquiae.
Yeah.
It is like it has a hollow where its center should be, which is filled with a kind of black ichor.
Mm-hmm. Wherever this thing came from, it didn't come from the same place as bat frog.
I'm going to pull out my dagger.
Yeah.
And I'm going to slice in, keeping my hands clear. I'm going to slice in, and then I would like to cast Mage Hand to sort of, cut and lift, so I don't touch.
Almost
at all.
trying to lift like the ichor sac.
Yeah, so it kind of comes out with Mage Hand as I cut.
You can roll me. If you're using Mage Hand, I'd like you to roll me Arcana because you're using magic to try and achieve this.
Yeah. That is a 15.
Okay, 15 passes. Yeah, absolutely. You're able to. As I makes that first incision, there is like little spots of kind of black, and it smells like something rotting and dank. You realize it smells like what's coming off Fathom. It's the smell of Fathom, this rotting, sulphurous smell. And you manage to extract this. It's almost like an organ that just seems to be like it doesn't look like a stomach, but it has that same sort of essentially like a balloon filled with liquid.
Okay. I'd like to Mage Hand over the mouth of this bottle.
Yep.
And is it wide enough to?
You can't place the whole thing in. You'll have to either sort of tip it in or maybe pierce it at the bottom and try and squirt it in, essentially.
In that case, then, I'd like to hover it just over with Mage Hand and then knife underneath and just a little sort of slice on the bottom side. To
roll me a sleight of hand check.
But that is a natural 20.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't spill a drop. And roll me a D4.
A 1.
Okay. You still don't know what it does, but there is one use of it.
Okay.
There is enough for one use of it.
Okay. I hold it up to Radian and I say,
Smells this. Does you still want to lick it?
I never wanted to lick it in the first place.
I think I understand.
What are you going to use it for?
I think this might be helpful on a blade, or thrones at someone, drops on someone.
Waste not, want not.
What do you want to do with the rest of this?
Can't you see a bush?
A bush?
A bush.
You just want to hide it in a bush?
Where else?
It smells terrible.
Does we think we can carry it back down to the water?
You're close to the water, essentially out the back of Asker's. You're only a sort of across there's a little pathway to the right of Asker's house. You are at the sort of front left corner of her house, down from the porch, and across the road is this house that you don't yet know you're going to look at.
Great.
And there's just a sort of little outbuilding in front of you where you are, and then it's the T-shaped jetty at which a sort of reasonable sized boat is.
We both carry it down to the water together, and just kind of like drop it, slide it into the water as it slops in. It just kind of like some of it kind of splashes up, and then
You kind of understand the gloam when you see stuff like this. The shadow will flood.
I think there is a connection between this.
Holds up the bottle with the black liquid.
And the blacks we sees on Atria.
I think it's all connected somehow. I don't understand how, but I think it is.
I still don't understand the blue water.
You know what? You can play with it another time. Let's get back.
Yes.
Back inside the house, Asker has set about making a hot chocolate. She's taken a large block of dark chocolate, and she's got a sharp knife and cut shavings off it, scraped shavings off it, and she's put it in a little brass pan with some milk and a cinnamon stick and a few other little aromatics and as much sugar as you wanted for your taste. Cal, how much sugar would that be?
1d10.
a hell of a lot of sugar. And the house is filling with the smells of cinnamon and cardamom and a little pinch of chili in there. She sprinkles at the end a tiny bit of flaky sea salt. She says, "Don't worry, it's not from down there," and pours it into a beautifully thrown ceramic, also a small bowl, but with handles on either side, so that you have to sort of cup it, and it feels like you want to hunch your shoulders over it and sip with your hands on it from both sides.
You guys have got to try this.
It's the best. It's as good a hot chocolate as you've ever had. I mean, whatever she's doing, it's working.
I'm good. I'm just going to stick with the wine, I think. I think sharing is caring, but we share enough.
I takes it and looks up at Dolly.
Yeah, go on then.
It's not like the toffee apple. It's not that pure hit of sugar. It is something that... Have you ever had chocolate before?
No.
Chocolate, the first time you have it in this context, it makes you... There's something about it that reminds you of home in a way that you can't quite put your finger on.
Why does I feel this in my chest?
What, burning?
No. Warm. But not like drinking's a soup warm.
Like the hearth warm.
Yes.
Sometimes food can do that. It sort of reminds you of places or things. It can, bring back happy memories.
Does you want happy memories?
And I hold it out to Dolly.
I'm good, thanks. Not a big chocolate fan.
To Radiant.
Does you want happy memories?
I think he needs some.
Yeah, you know what? And he very slowly thinks about it for a second, kind of worried about what it's gonna do
Yeah.
if he tries it. And for a second he hesitates and then goes, well, what the hell? And then takes a drink of the chocolate.
It's so good. Nothing mechanical, no strange flashbacks. It makes you feel safe in a way you haven't really felt safe in a really long time.
Yeah, it's good.
It's really good, isn't it?
Yeah.
You feel the chili as it goes down.
Just a tiny bit.
Just a
yeah.
little.
It should warm. It shouldn't burn. You should feel it. You should feel it just slightly in the throat, not on the lips. It shouldn't hit you that quick.
This is the first time Radian genuinely wanted something to happen, to feel something, and he's disappointed.
I'm gonna have her. No, she rolled extremely low on an insight check. I'm glad you like it, darling.
How long's the water been like that?
It sort of started to darken. It didn't happen overnight. Perhaps a week ago?
That's all?
Yeah. Which would be about the same sort of time as the water went blue on the Seraphine. Because you can assume the first morning that the river went blue was when you saw it, when you were coming north from Mouse Bowery. It sort of darkened. It was like, sometimes it's... Oh, when you see it in the summer or you see it in the spring and it's a clear day, you don't, were it not for that great, beautiful marble monstrosity, you wouldn't know where the water ended and the sky began. It's like one's reflected in the other in a sort of infinite, endless loop of blues and greens and opals. And then it was winter and it was cloudy and grey. And for a while, a few days, we thought, is that just reflections? But no, it got darker and darker and darker. Now you can't see your hand.
I assume you didn't want to jump into it either.
No, strange things in the deep.
Well, we have to cross it, one way or another.
And for that, we'll need the chart.
To that end, how do you feel about a little bit of, reconnaissance?
I does not know what this means.
We need a simple item retrieved from only just down the way. You haven't seen this guy around?
No, not since.
If I is understanding right, you is wanting some stealings.
Yes.
Technically, no.
Well, no, a return of an item that was actually stolen from me.
Oh, you gives me happy memories. I gives you your things.
Yes. That's quite a beautiful way of looking at it, actually.
And because we're not stealing, it's guilt-free too.
Oh, you don't have to worry. I'm not asking you to take anything that isn't mine to.
Oh, I would have done it anyway.
Oh, right. Well, that's very good. I might ask you to find something. If you see anything interesting, I would like it.
I would have enjoyed it anyway.
Oh, marvelous! You seem like the perfect person.
I mean, we can go with you as far as we can, but I think the main breaking and entering comes down to you.
I has one thing to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Picks up this quite large bottle thing.
Oh, don't spill that. Don't spill that.
Can you put it in a smaller one for I? Please.
Yes, I'll decant it.
You really don't have to.
I need to
You
get
don't have to decant it, you just has to put it from this one into another one.
You know what? If you don't mind, I'll do that for you. I feel like we brought this thing into your lovely
I'll put
home.
some gloves on. Actually, don't put my gloves on. They're not really fisherman's gloves. Gosh, that is a strange thing, she says, looking at this sort of sloshing, semi-viscous... You know what it's like? Have you ever seen slime eels?
Yes.
That they just produce great volumes of this kind of... It's like that. It's almost like a semi-liquid.
Huge smile on his face.
I think it might do some damage.
I think it might. I fancy, in fact, it will.
Yes.
Lovely.
Where does you need I to go?
And she points out the house to you.
Oh, we carried the fish past that way.
Not far, yes. You put a fish? What do you do with the fish? Put it back in the lake?
Yes.
Right, yes. No, fine. No, but
Not in a bush.
not that little one. Across the way, across the road, and points out slightly further across from the one that you walked past.
I'll show you, it's fine. we getting this done before or after dinner?
Well, I mean, it's a slow cook. She's got
light stomach.
she's got some. It's a very wintry dish. But it's one of those. She's preparing an extraordinary amount of side dishes, sort of root vegetables that she's roasting in honey and hard herbs, and others that are big steaming bowls of grains with little jewels of fruit through them, and various nuts and seeds and fresh herbs and squeezes of citrus on top. And then there are a couple of chickens or perhaps guinea fowls or even ptarmigans that she's roasting in various aromatics, and the house is starting to be. She says,
This is too much.
no, it's not. It's not. It's such a pleasure to be able to do it.
Just drop dinner to the blue on you.
Darling, I have money coming out of my ears.
Yeah, I can
I
imagine.
mean, what am I going to spend it on?
Pleasure cruise.
Yeah, well, honestly, sometimes I get them so drunk on board that I wouldn't even get off the jetty. I just tell them they've done a tour, and I wait until they wake up the next morning. I used to sleep in my own bed.
Leave it to you to find the perfect mark in this part of town.
Oh, I would be happy to taste all of it.
I would. I'm always in need of a chef de partie. Well, are you going to stay? Were you going to go with them and find the chart, or are you going to stay with me and have some tasty morsels?
You can stay.
You can stay.
Do you need help?
No, you eat.
Oh, the ptarmigan sounds great.
Oh, marvelous! And she does that thing, where you can find the oyster of a bird. That bit.
Oh, the best bit.
And she points at it roasting in the tray as this kind of the butter that she's basted it in is sort of bubbling all around the edges and just starting to caramelize. And she points and she says, "Master Dragonborn, that is for you." And right, the four of you. Is it the four of you are heading out towards this house?
Can I just say, I'm about to present to you
ones.
something. I'm about to present to you, dear viewers, something, and I will
The devil
describe
looks
it. Yeah, I will describe it for those listening. Holly has already presented me with a small card of unknown black
Oh,
liquid.
that is fantastic.
Phenomenal.
That's
Because no one can
so
track
great.
any potions with it.
Oh,
We
that's
now have
so
physical
great.
cards.
Thank you. Ms. Bennett, really?
The gold's coming out of the ear. Magics or metaphor?
Metaphor. She has a lot of money. She was always really too smart for this game.
How are you going to get over towards this house? Would you like to sort of be stealthing through the shadows? Great.
100%.
And who is going with I? Essentially, whoever is going with I is going to make stealth checks, and anyone who's just keeping lookout doesn't need to do so.
I'll keep a lookout. I think it's probably better for me. I'm not... New stat sheet. I'm not awful now at Dex.
I'll keep a lookout as well.
I will go with I closer to the house.
Great, so can you both roll me stealth checks, please, Dolly and I? Go ahead.
That is a 13. I managed to roll a 2 and have a plus 11.
11, okay.
I got a 9.
Okay. You do a bad job of moving across this quietly. As you're approaching...
Why are they walking weird?
Why are they limping? They're both limping really heavily.
They're really good at this. I don't know what's going on. Is this like just pretend?
I manages to sort of get across the grass, but normally I has such silent footfall that it's unusual to just be aware of the shape of him making his way towards the front of this building. And Dolly, as she walks across the path, and the path is gravel, and rather than vaulting it, she just sort of crunches through the gravel.
She's just walking normally.
It's
doing a normal
Is
walk.
she making that noise with her mouth? What's that noise?
She's dragging I.
And you look out, you turn around and look towards the house. You see that Asker has turned and is looking out the window at you. Clearly, it's loud enough that Asker is looking out of her window.
I
Ron,
poke out my head and go,
Guys, you gotta try this. It's so good.
can the four of you, Dolly, I, Radian, and Elowin, roll me perception checks, please? Go ahead, I.
18.
18. Dolly?
12.
12.
19.
19.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. There is no movement inside the house. There is no twitching of curtains. The shutters don't kind of move as if someone is looking out. You get to the front of this house, which has a stoop, a porch, leading up towards a front door. And you can't see any signs of life within. And from where you are, I'm going to see you kind of lose them round the corner. So you can watch the house, but you now can't watch them unless you want to move. There doesn't seem to be anyone looking or checking. Or...
I'm going to move closer then in that case.
And are you going to, how are you going to just, in that case, give me a stealth check, the two of you. Go ahead, Ray.
18.
18. It's actually an 18 for me as well.
An 18, so I'm
Why
going
are
to say...
we doing this so much better than they did?
But by the time Dolly and I have sort of established that no one's heard them and they've approached the steps, the two of you meet them at the steps.
What was that about?
What were you doing?
What? You're lucky that there's no one in, clearly.
I thought we did.
I thought we did fine.
You just looked strange.
You was maybe a little bit, but other than that,
That's the noise. Were you making that with your mouth?
No.
Can we stop making noises with our mouths?
Sorry.
What do you want to do?
Is there any... How tall is this? Is it one...
It's a two-story house.
Is there any sort of like trellising or pipe work or something along the side that I could sort of...
I would say these are this porch, but they have these sort of sloped roofs over the porches in order to allow it to kind of block the sun, because essentially it's so flat round here, there would be nothing to stop you from just kind of getting dazzled by the sun at the wrong time of day as you look out over the lake. And so with a kind of leg up, you could definitely climb up onto the roof of the porch and see if you could get in through a higher window, if that's what you wanted to do.
Pretty good with trellises, Dolly. From what I've
Don't talk about that.
Puts the fire away.
Yeah. Are you going to give it... Yeah.
Okay, so you get a little boost up. Roll me an acrobatics with advantage.
That is, I believe, an 18. Let me
Yep.
just double check. That is an 18.
Yeah, absolutely does it. You get up onto this terracotta tiled roof that goes over this wooden porch with a lime-washed house in front of you.
Are there any windows that I can see that are sort of on that roof that kind of would they be sort of further up into an attic space? Would they be?
Yeah, they look to come out on the. I mean, you can go up and you can have a look at the kind of rooms that are inside if you like.
Yeah. Sure.
You roll me an investigation as you try to peer through these windows.
That is a 16.
There is looks to lead into a hallway with two doors off it. It's a narrow window at the end of a hallway. You could get through it.
Okay. I go back to the edge of the roof and I go,
I is going inside.
Wait, you know what a chart looks like, right?
No.
The picture of the lake with like different stuff marked on it.
It's always likes a map.
Like a map, yeah.
Oh, of the lake.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, so I want to make my way back up, and I would like to see if any of these windows are just already open.
You can try, they're shut, but they don't seem to be locked. You can try and force one.
Jam a knife in and...
Yeah, absolutely. You can roll me a sleight of hand check. It's DC 12.
That is a dirty 21.
Dirty 20, a dirty
Can't be a
21
dirty
rather than an actual.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you sort of, what you notice when you start to edge this knife, kind of jamming it into the crack where the window sits in the housing, is that actually this is quite, this window's kind of sticking. It hasn't been it feels like it hasn't been opened in a little while. It's not one that's been kind of.
Okay.
But you successfully sort of dig away where a layer of little moss has started to kind of creep in. There are a few kind of cobwebs hanging in the corner as well. And you,
what does it smell of when I open it? Is there
when
any
you
smell?
open it,
Yeah.
it smells. It doesn't smell rotten or dank or like, but it just smells a little like it needs airing. Roll me perception, see if there's anything more you can discern.
16.
16. Yeah, it just smells like it needs airing. Smells like someone maybe hasn't cracked this window open in a little while. A little stale.
Before I go in, I'm just going to go back down to the edge of the roof, lean over and go,
I don't think anyone has been here for a while.
We're just checking out. I mean, they could have left something in there and then not stuck around.
Okay. A maps of the lake.
Yeah.
A maps.
Okay. So you get out into this first floor of the house. There's a door to your left and a door at the end of the corridor, and there are a set of steps running down.
I'm going to try the first door.
Okay. It's open. It's a bedroom. Looks like it hasn't been slept in a while. The bed is made.
I'm going to actually go back out and downstairs.
Yeah.
I'm not getting any immediate sense of danger in this moment,
No.
so I'm going to go down to the front door and see if I can open it from the inside.
So you want to go down the stairs?
So
Down? Yes. Okay. I understand. Sorry. Yes.
To
absolutely.
Then maybe
absolutely.
open the inside
Roll
and
me.
be
Would you like to stealth down the stairs?
Yeah, I'll still do it.
Okay. Roll me a stealth check
sure.
to try and sort of creep down the stairs.
It's a 19.
19. Yeah. You barely make a sound. That feeling where as you go to step, you feel one of the steps sort of starts to give as if it's going to creak, and you manage to, by bracing yourself on the banister on the far wall, you kind of avoid that step, shift your weight slightly and stop it from creaking, and you make your way down into it actually looks kind of like newly moved into. So there's still empty bookshelves, there's a rug under a table, there's books in piles, there's a crumbs and a jar of jam and a loaf of bread that is on a cutting board. And you want to go to the front door?
Yeah, and when I get to the front door, I want to just check the edge of the door to make sure there's no sort of...
Nice. Roll me investigation.
That is an 18.
An 18. You find nothing. You find no little piece of tape or maybe a twig that would snap should the door be opened.
Yeah. Then I want to see if I can just unlock and open the door for these guys to come in.
Absolutely. And you're capable of it's like a bolt lock that goes along the back and a chain.
Cool.
The chain obviously hasn't been put on because it
Yeah.
would be impossible to leave unless they also left out a window. But the kind of bolt lock which could be opened from the inside and the outside, you slide that across.
And then as I open the door, I relay and I say,
The chain was not on, which makes I think that no one is in here.
That was quick.
So you've checked all the rooms before you...
No, but I thought many eyes might be better. It feels okay.
Good thinking.
You knows what's the
Yeah.
chart? The charts.
Chart,
Charts looks like.
Okay.
Okay, so what's everyone looking? Where's everyone looking? I'll describe the space for you again so you get a sense of it. So it is a room, not kind of completely dissimilar to the size of Asker's, but a little smaller. As you enter, the stairs are sort of against the far wall, just to the right of centre. To the left, where the stairs end, there is a door, which has not yet been opened, which you can assume leads into a further room. And other than that, you're in a sort of rectangular room. To your right, as you step in, are bookshelves on the sort of, if you like, the south and the east wall, although we won't worry about if that's actually the geographical the direction. There is a table on a rug, quite a lot of stuff in that corner. And then there is a chair and a side table and a pile of books, not far from the stairs.
I is going back upstairs.
Okay.
Check out the further room. The door.
Okay. You open that. It's a kitchen, not particularly well stocked, a pretty empty pantry section.
Nothing here.
I'll be checking one of those tables then, just looking for notes, paper.
Okay.
Seeing if someone just put it down.
Roll me investigation.
Yeah, which I'm famous. Actually, I'm going to roll that again with heroic. And that is an 11.
An 11.
It's worse than that before.
You riffle through the papers that are on this sort of circular table. There doesn't seem to be a chart among them.
I searched the area that Ellie didn't search, so kind of like on the other side of the room you talked about, like the book, is it the bookcases and things?
Yeah, bookcases and a rug.
Yeah.
Area. Yeah, roll me investigation.
14.
The corner of the rug is slightly curved over.
I then go to the edge of the rug and I pull it back.
And there is a trapdoor beneath.
How fun.
I think I found something.
You've gone upstairs, right? Roll me investigation upstairs.
18.
18. You find a room with a bath in it and a little wood-burning stove from which you could heat water and a sort of like a toilet, like a privy. But there's nothing else up here. The bath looks to have been used more recently than the bed.
Okay. Then I will head back downstairs and relay this, including the information that the bath looks more recently used in the bed.
Okay, so he's clean. Get in the trapdoor.
Unless whoever it is we're looking for is wherever that trapdoor leads.
Yep.
One way to find out.
And you open the trapdoor, and there is a set of steps that lead down into a basement.
Good things happen when we go into a basement.
Good things happen when we go into enclosed spaces.
Heading down?
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Or
That knows that. I don't know that as a number, but I know.
I get it. What people say when they're excited.
Yes.
I think it's best that I go first.
Why?
Why?
It doesn't really matter if I get injured. One of you guys will save me.
No, that's terrible logic.
And as they're having this conversation, I just starts to descend.
You go down into a stone floor basement. A decent height ceiling, like a 7-foot ceiling. This has really been dug out. This has been here for a long time.
This was made for a giant.
The gods! At the far end of the wall, the wall at the far end of the space that you enter, there is a brick wall. And lining the space on either side are chests and wardrobes.
Treasure.
Not typical treasure. Well, let's find out.
I normally hears that maps leads to treasure, not that treasure is the maps.
I think that depends who you're asking. Well, we need to find it.
Yep. I'm going to investigate.
Yeah. You've got the yeah. I've explained what's in there.
It's specifically what you'd like me to investigate, like because you've got the chests and wardrobes. So I'd like to. Do you want me to roll an investigation check?
No, just let me know which one you want to. Which one? You want to get into.
How many chests? And
There's 3 wardrobes along the right-hand side, and then there are 2 chests on the left-hand side.
I'm going to investigate. Am I allowed to investigate 2 chests or 1 chest? The chests, please.
The chests. Roll me investigation.
That's a natural 20.
Natural 20. Okay. One of the chests has shoes, hats, bags, packs, and various equipment that you would find in the sacks of travelers. There's dried food, there's torches, there's tinder boxes, there are quills and parchment and bottles of ink. And you realize that each of these shoes are all of different sizes. And then you check the other chest and it is a cache of weapons, short swords, crossbow bolts, piled in with each other. Within that 20, you look, as you're looking through this, you go to look up and talk to one of your companions who's come over to your right-hand side towards the wall. And as you look up, you look at that far wall and you notice something that didn't strike you at first, but embedded in the mortar of the far wall, the mortar in between the bricks, are what look to be mummified wasps. Their stings stuck into the dry mortar.
That there. On the wall, look.
What is it?
And I relay exactly what you just said.
And then you all see it. These. Is anyone looking in the wardrobes, by the way? Does anyone want to look in the wardrobes? So as you open up the wardrobes, you see one contains larger weapons that you couldn't fit in a chest. There's pikes and spears and a greatsword, a two-handed greatsword. And then there are outfits. Roll me investigation, see how many of these you recognize.
7.
7. One you definitely recognize is there's an outfit of a poet of grace.
Shit. I think we need to leave.
Yeah?
I don't know. But I don't like this.
Think we've been double-crossed?
I don't know.
I doesn't have the feeling of warm, happy memories anymore. I thinks we should leave this space.
A raging goes over to that area of the wall and wants to take a closer look at that.
The wasps.
Yeah. I don't want to touch them.
They are stuck into the mortar. At first, you only see a couple, and then the longer you look, the more you see there's dozens of them.
As he inspects, I want to go back up the steps to the front door, and I'm just peering out while this is going on.
Roll me perception.
6.
6. You don't see anything. Go back to Cal. You are cooking chickens with Aska.
And tasting. I'm like,
Now that's called a demi-glace. Essentially, it's it's how you'd make any kind of. Do you cook much? You're very cold.
I know, thank you. I've been told that. I don't know anything about it.
It's strange, isn't it? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean like that. It's just noteworthy.
Oh, it's just how I am.
No, you're right. You're right.
What do you know?
Well, I know the golds tend to be in the Legion, but I've met golds that aren't, just not many as gold as you, that's all. We all go back to the Chosen Fourscore, that's what they say, don't they? Some of us are just closer in.
what color is
She's
she?
bronze.
She's bronze.
So she would be it goes, let me get this correct, it sort of goes bronze, it goes gold, silver, bronze, copper, brass.
I must say, your scales are very, very lovely.
Oh, thank you. That's ever so sweet.
What do you... I don't mean to pry, but...
No, not at all.
What do you know of the Legion? I know very little.
Well, I used to make a fair bit of money ferrying them across. And they were, they were sort of fuddy-duddy, and they were sticks in the mud, and they used to do all these strange prayers and sing songs and these dreadful chants and poems. Have you ever met a cleric? Have you ever met clerics of Thealon? With the songs,
yes.
Some of them sing, or some of the Fortis leaders, they like to chant and all this sort of stuff, and it recite instructions to the just while you're just going along on a beautiful summer's day. And anyway, I used to ferry them back and forth, and they were always quite obliging, always very polite, if not a little strange. And then, well, since everything happened up the top of the mountain, everything changed. They didn't want to use me at all. I've not seen them. They start coming across in their own boats, and dozens of them at a time sometimes, and heading off all around about the place.
So are there many of the Legion left in
I don't know.
I mean, it's not... I don't even know what the number is these days.
How do they address one another?
Well, they would refer to one another as the... Hold on, because I do actually have this written down, and it'll be a shame for me to guess when I've worked at it. So, obviously Segovax is the gallant, and then there's the honoured golden and the revered silver. And they tend to address one another. I mean, the blessed bronze, they tried to call me once. I didn't really take to it. I told them that I'd rather be called Asker than anything else.
Blessed bronze is nice, though.
Yes, but it's not my name.
No. And I'm certainly not an honored golden.
Well, in this house you are. And
thank you.
She says, now I think, don't tell the others because I don't like to carve till everyone's at the table. I think this bit might be ready. And she takes a little spoon and just pops the oyster out just alone of this ptarmigan and says, now that, let it cool down because you'll burn yourself. A little flaky salt on top. That's for you.
How do I eat this?
With your hands, my honoured golden. I told you.
It's luscious.
And as Kelnis chews away on the oyster of a ptarmigan, we'll go back into the basement.
Why are you so nervous?
These costumes, it's... Shit. I think we need to go back and check on Kelnis. We've been a little bit too free with our information.
What are you
I've been a
talking
little
about?
bit too free. Don't.
Do as she says. Let's get out of here.
Do you see a chart anywhere?
No, I don't see a chart, but that's because maybe we haven't looked hard enough.
Why would someone steal a chart and then put it in an abandoned house and not use it?
What are you insinuating?
I'm not insinuating anything. I just have a bad feeling and I'd like to check it. You don't know the people I used to run around with. I should have known better.
Ask her.
Yeah.
You think this is hers?
I know she used to wear something like that.
At the moment, the only costume that has been that you've had your attention drawn to is the Poet of Grace one. If anyone else would like to try and see what else is in there, then you can do. Roll me an investigation check.
Yeah, I will as well. I guess it's 2 wardrobes.
I'm not down there.
19.
15.
Okay, so what you both see, you see you see a guard of Barun, you see an Escalon guard, you see a cleric of Thealon, the kind of thing that Jasmy's inferiors would have worn. Various outfits. They're different sizes. Some look like they would fit a halfling. Some look like they would fit a dragonborn. Some look like they would fit a human. Various sizes.
Yogalaska used to run with different people?
We all did. That was how I knew her.
You think any of these costumes would fit them?
Oh. You're going too far back for me to be able to tell that, but...
I don't want to sound hyperbolic here, but you're getting caught up on this. Anyone explain why there's wasps in a wall?
I can't answer. I have no idea.
I'd like to go and touch it.
Touch the wall or touch a wasp?
Yeah, touch a wasp.
Okay.
You've been desperate to do something, so...
You touch a wasp, and it moves. It doesn't move as if it lives, but it moves as if it could be removed from the mortar.
I pull it out.
You pull it out, and...
What was this jam upstairs? It's going to go back for its jam. Out of context, Joe, no one's going to get that. BTS from months later.
The wall starts to slide. It slides slowly back, and it reveals a further chamber. And there is, on the far wall of this chamber, is a huge map of Reliquiae. It's a map that you'd see on the road. It's the sort of standard issued map.
And across this map are more wasps stuck into the map at various points, red thread tied around them.
Shit, I know what this is.
Oh my god.
It starts at Atria. It goes...
What have you done?
It goes
Oh my God.
to Baroon. It goes to Mouse. It goes
Oh my God.
to
Oh my
Yannick.
God.
It goes to Vale. And the string is currently hanging down, waiting to be placed. But then what you see, that below this map is a blood-stained table. And there is a figure lying on the table, a figure with stitching all over it. Thick threads, big metal staples holding flesh together. And this creature sits up and turns to face you, and it is an amalgamation of horns and pointed ears, skin that has been stretched over a face too large. It's torn and started to rip. It looks like it could burst at any moment. Kept in place with a row of staples underneath the jaw. There's jagged teeth that seem to spill out of the mouth, tiny green eyes, and huge, powerful arms. And it lumbers forward towards you, legs of uneven lengths. Everybody roll initiative.
Oh my God.
This is the best advert for join the Patreon, people. Join the Patreon.
Okay.
You will understand so much.
Anyone get higher than a 20?
Got a dirty 20.
Okay. Anyone get higher than a 15?
16.
A 16.
I got a 15.
And a 15. Anyone get higher than a 10?
Can I?
Also, I'm actually I'm at the door upstairs. I'm not like.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Great.
not there.
I mean,
What?
would I have heard a wall gonna go?
I think you will. What I'll say is that you will act on the second round.
Yep.
You'll miss one round. What did you get, Radian?
I got an 8.
Okay.
It's a good 8, though.
I can,
Feeling good about
I
it.
can tell. Elowin, that is your turn. This creature rises up, lumbering towards you.
I am going to draw my sword and I'm going to hold because I genuinely do not know what the hell I'm even looking at.
Okay.
Like I'm shocked by it. If it makes any sort of attack towards me.
I'll tell you what you can do. I will let you roll an insight check to try and deter its motive, and if that is the case, I will still let you make one attack.
Okay.
If you decide that it is hostile.
That is only a 13.
Okay, even with a 13, this creature is moving towards you with hostile intent, its arms reaching out for the four of you.
Then I'm going to attack.
Okay, so you can make one attack with your sword
Yep.
and then make one attack with your dagger.
Ooh, that's not good. That is only a 14.
That hits.
Okay, that will be a d6 plus 6 for me, so that's only hitting for 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll try again.
Yep, with the Grenweird dagger now.
That's even worse. That it will then only be a 12.
That also hits. This thing is just bulky flesh. It's harder to miss than it is to hit this.
Then that is a 9.
Okay.
And then I will go with my... Actually, I could have rolled
Hang on,
that anyway.
you only get 2 attacks, right?
Yeah, that's my attack. Because I get 2 short sword attacks.
Yes, and I'm saying you used up one of your short sword
then
attacks
fine.
rolling the insight. And that was a 9 on the last one, was
Yeah.
it? Okay. That is Dolly's turn.
What the hell is this thing? Any ideas?
No, because it looks like it's made up of everything.
Well, then that should make it easier to hit. I don't know. And then I'm going to cast Dissonant Whispers at level 3,
Okay.
which is a Wisdom saving throw.
Okay, it has advantage on spell set. It has advantage on magic. That is it's a 19 on the die, so it's going to pass.
So that would be half damage. So 5d6.
5d6 halved.
Yeah.
It's like, if it's 10d6 on a third level,
Yeah,
I'm so
fine.
screwed
I would
moving
be
forward.
terrified. Hello. So 11, 12, 13, 13, 6, 19, 19 halved.
19 halved is 10.
Yeah.
So we know we round down, don't we? We don't round up, so in fact it's 9. As you cast this spell, this thing sort of shrieks in pain, but it shrieks with like a voice that seems different to the mouth it's coming from. It's almost like it's split. It's half like a piercing cry and half this strange guttural shriek. You can hear the sound reverberating around in its mouth and in its sort of oddly deformed chest. That is Eye's turn. You've heard this now.
I'm gonna click my heels.
Yeah.
4 turns.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, I'm gonna sprint
Yep.
back down towards and have I got enough? I mean, it's
I'll say you can I'll say you can hide as a bonus action if that's what you would like.
yeah, I'd like to sort of drop down.
We're playing fast and loose with the rules.
I mean,
but
what a thing
I'm
to running
quite-
on though,
I
right?
basically-
You're gonna
yeah,
speed in and
with
just
that.
I basically run, sprint. I don't even touch. Basically, I'm going so fast, I don't even touch the steps on the way down.
Yeah.
It's like in a cartoon where they're just above it. like that. Anyway, come down, skid, look up, see this beast, and my immediate reaction is I just go and I tuck and hide into the wall alongside one of the cupboards, one of the cabinets.
Roll me a stealth check.
That is a 27.
27, absolutely. This thing does not have a passive perception of 28. That is this creature's turn. You've done the most damage to it, Dolly. It is going to move towards you. This is a confined space, and it's going to swing its arms at you, and it does so 3 times. It rolls a 19, a 20, and a 25.
Good God!
What?
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. I was joking. It was a joke. It was a goof. This is going to be quite a bit.
Yeah, we've established.
Well, actually, she doesn't have the least amount of hit points now.
Okay, so I rolled. Oh my God, I rolled really badly on that one.
Good.
I rolled badly on that one as well. That is 22 bludgeoning damage.
And I will Hellish Rebuke.
Okay.
So it's going to be surrounded by Hellish Flames, Dex saving throw.
Okay. It has advantage on the save.
really
which
hurt.
is a 7 and a 9 becomes an 8. It has a -1.
Fail.
Okay.
It's 2d10 fire damage.
2d10 fire damage. Okay. Oh, that's very good.
Isn't it? Let's spell that amazing that.
As a result of taking fire damage, it now has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the end of its next turn.
That's 13.
13 damage. That is Radian of the Thornbear's turn.
You said it's a confined space, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes, it is.
Super confined.
Yes. Not the sort of space where you could cast a fireball without hitting other.
And just
Please don't.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I'm a fireball in and around. I'd like to ask the question of: is there anything else in this room? It's just that's the only body that there is.
in that space.
Yeah.
You can't see another body. For you to ascertain exactly what else is in there, that would be your action.
That would be my action.
To do an investigation.
Could I investigate what this thing is? Is there a way of me kind of assessing it in some way?
Again, that would really require an action.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. I would allow you to roll. You could roll nature or investigation, and I would say that would allow you to establish really what it is you're looking at. If that's how you want to spend your turn.
No, I'm going to hit it.
Okay.
No, actually, fuck it. It's more interesting. It's more interesting if I.
Yeah.
I'm looking
Yeah,
at.
you know,
Remember
you
is
do
what
you do what you want to do. You do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Go on.
I'm gonna roll investigation. I'm gonna find out what it
Radiant,
is.
you die. No, okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay.
That is a 16.
Okay, you are looking at a creature that has been made from parts of other creatures. And you recognize with a 16, the eyes are gnomish eyes. You recognize that is that is an orc skull, which has been attached to the jaw of a dragonborn. You see that the skin of the face looks dwarvish. You can see that the it has tiefling horns. This is a horror. This is like a creature made of the parts of other creatures, humanoids.
Yeah. I'd like to, almost like as I'm doing that, relaying what I'm saying to the team, just so you know, this is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if this isn't being very helpful.
Yeah, we all have eyes, Ridian.
What I will give you then with that as well.
I can't see.
Because what did you give? You get investigation, did you?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that also gives you a chance to have a sort of look around the room a little. And you see a desk with drawers and on a little metal table next to that main blood-stained wooden table are various surgical implements, saws and pliers and pincers.
Great.
And knives. That is Elowin's turn.
Gonna try and hit it.
Absolutely, yep.
Hack it.
Oh, it's a nat 1. A terrible time.
That does not hit.
No, it doesn't. That fucking does, though. That is a 27.
What did you roll on the die?
18.
So nearly a crit. Yeah, that hits.
Yeah, it is not a crit. But that is, that hits for 9. And then I'm gonna try and hit it with my dagger.
Yeah.
That is a crit, because it's a 19.
Yes.
So that'll be 2d4, so that'll be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
11.
And then I'm going to action surge.
Amazing.
I hate this thing.
Quite right. Again, this strange, like strangled cry, as if many voices are calling out at once as you stab into it.
That is a 24.
Hits.
So that hits for 8. And then I'm gonna hit it again.
Yep.
That hits again, because that is a 9. That is a dirty 19.
Yep.
And that hits for 10.
Yep. This thing's looking really very hurt.
Good. And then because I hit with a crit on one of those rolls, I can move up to 15 feet without provoking.
Yeah.
So I'm actually just gonna kind of move, and I'm actually gonna move closer to Dolly.
Okay. Yep.
I like to think you did so much damage because I told you exactly what it is.
You know what? If that makes you feel better, I'll let you have that.
So as you do all that damage, I go, you're welcome for the information.
Radiant, I couldn't have done it without you.
Appreciated.
No, sorry, Dolly, that is your turn.
I'm gonna look at this gross, weird, horrible, sad thing and just be like, I'm sorry, but the kindest thing we can do for you now is die. And I'm just gonna cast Shatter at
Con save.
3rd level.
It has... Holy shit. It has a +4, it has advantage on the roll. I rolled a 2 and a 1.
Yes. That's lovely for me. Okay, so that is, how much is it?
Shatter at 3rd level.
3d8.
3d8.
Thunder, yeah, okay. All right. That is, hello, it's 20.
Holy hell. This thing looks unbelievably hurt. Aye, that's your turn.
You're welcome for the information.
I peers around the edge of this cupboard, just kind of takes it in, kind of pops his head back behind the cupboard, takes a big breath in, says,
You got this. You got this.
and leans out and just fires off a crossbow bolt in the direction of this beast, and that is a nat 20.
What is your plus to your modifier for... So, is 1d8 plus or 1d6 plus? What's your plus?
1d8 plus 6.
Right, you can't not.
Okay.
You had 4 HP. Tell me about it.
Okay. I
Steal?
leans out,
Yeah, right?
Fires
this
off.
is normal.
fires off the bolt as Elowin literally turns to move back away. She turns to see a bolt coming towards her, literally towards her head, but the momentum that she has is just enough that it skims past her ear. Radiant is busy looking around the room, and all he sees is just a bolt go flying past his eyes as this bolt goes thudding straight. This beast opens its mouth, the dragonborn jaw, it just opens its mouth to let out that multi-voice cry thing. Before it even gets a chance, you hear, and then it just through the other side of it, bolt into the wall where the red...
You're loving him that 20 here.
And he falls with a slump with a kind of weird sound, and then I just goes, "You is welcome, by the way."
Amazing. And you are out of combat.
Where the hell are we?
Where the hell is Kelnis?
He's back at the house. What is this? Is anyone else seeing a pattern with this map?
It's where we've been.
Yeah. Who put it there?
Well, I'm going to guess it wasn't the thing on the floor because it could barely walk or talk. I can't imagine it was pinning up red string.
I'd like to go over to the body and examine further what these pieces are, see if I recognise any of the bits.
Roll me investigation.
That's a nat 20.
Oh no. Oh no.
We've had some good nat 20s in this.
You recognise the skin of the face. It was a dwarf called Portree that you worked with back when you were in the chapter of an elf called Glitterball.
That asshole.
Portree was solid, super solid, very competent.
I'd like to ask this for the context of me, the player.
Mm-hmm.
Would I know this?
There's no reason why you should. Everyone can... You know who's been in the web the longest? Cal. Cal might know all about this. Dolly, roll me history with disadvantage. You're the only one who's been in... Elwyn, roll me history with disadvantage.
Oh my God. Ha. Look, it was a nat 20, and then it was a dirty 20.
Hey.
4.
4. Elwyn, there was rumours of someone called the Wasp. And the Wasp was a killer of agents of the web. People would disappear. You don't know if the web took them. You don't know if they found a way of leaving. You don't know if the Wasp got them. The Wasp is the story that the web tells, some people believe, to keep people in line. That the Wasp was like some people think it was almost like a boogeyman that didn't exist, that was to tell you that you couldn't trust anybody. Like a parable, like a fable. Others who you've known, you have sworn they've lost people to the Wasp themselves. No one knows what the Wasp looks like. No one has a description of them. But there are wasps on the wall. There's jam in the kitchen.
It's their jam. They made it.
There's a memory of that for you.
We're being hunted.
Shit. What?
We're being hunted.
No wasp.
It's an old story from the web. I didn't think it was real. I don't think any of us thought it was real.
Shit. That means they know. Doesn't it?
Yeah. It's the only thing it could know. They're coming for us.
Cal, we need to get back to him.
We need to get back to Cal.
Is there anything else in the room?
There is a set of desk drawers and the table with the surgical tools.
I'm going to have a look at the desk drawers.
Okay. You find 2 things. You find 3 things. You find a chart. A chart of Fathom. And you find a book that looks to be bound in skin. And it contains diagrams of this golem that you fought. This was a flesh golem. And evidence of experimentation. There are versions that were constructed and then discarded. And I'm just going to read you what you read in the book. Zora, 2nd Ponvin chapter, human, 6 feet tall, left leg, attached foot and partial torso. Mostin, 4th Brack chapter, gnome, 3 foot 5 inches tall, eyes. Krakus, 2nd Brack chapter, orc, 6 foot 6 inches tall, skull. Laertes, 1st Barun, elf, 6 foot 2, both arms and attached hands. Artorius, first Baroon, elf, 5 foot 11 inches, right leg and attached foot, partial torso, including ribcage. Portrait, first Baroon chapter, dwarf, 4 foot 11 inches tall, the skin of the face removed in its entirety, incisions made behind each ear, cartilage of the nose not successfully recovered. Helios, first Baroon, orc, 6 foot 1, the cartilage of the nose, both hands to replace previous. Caliban, third Escalon, tiefling, 5 foot 8, horns and ears. Siloth, dragonborn, 6 foot 9 inches tall, teeth and attached jaw, could not recover entire skull.
Look, I like you all, but I don't want to end up the next experiment on the table.
And you find this.
It's made of skin.
Hilda, we have found you, little wasp. You who have for so long been so adept in finding us. No one can escape the silk forever. We come to you with an offer, the son of the tree speaker, for a cessation of your hunt. Make no further attacks on us, and we will give you his location. We have ways. We await your answer through the stone you took from Laertes. We need not tell you how wide we trust, nor how many eyes we see through, on behalf of the prince.
And that's where we'll end our session.
And I know none of this.
Holy shit.
So, thank you very much for watching, everybody. That was episode 20 of our adventures in the world of Reliquiae. We are going to, I think, probably dive as quickly into an action surge as we ever have done before. Thank you. If you'd like to hear that action surge and you're a member of our Patreon, you can actually fully understand the context of everything you've just heard, and you can also hear our action surge happening right now. However, if you've not yet made that commitment to us, and we do love you, you can wait a week. But, go ahead.
This episode's going out in early January.
Yes, so right now there is actually a special offer. If you are a new member of our, if you are not been a member of our Patreon before, and you are interested in going at the Vile tier.
Vile and the Virtuous.
The Vile and the Virtuous, which is $5.
$10 and the $20 one, but the $20 is just you're feeling real generous.
$10 or $20, and you would like to join us and see if you fancy, see if you enjoy what we make, and you will get the entire backstory of everything that you've just heard. You can get 20% off for your first month using the code.
No code, it'll just automatically apply at checkout.
Oh my God, I was so excited because I thought I'd have to say a code.
No, sorry.
So
you can say a code if you want.
You can
say a code. It won't do anything.
You won't need it.
What you can whisper, what I'd like you to whisper is the web is wide as you type it into your computer. It won't mechanically do anything. So if you've never been a member of our Patreon, and this episode has whet your appetite for maybe wanting to understand everything, because frankly, without being a member of the Patreon, you now won't understand everything. You can go and check that out, and you can get 1 month 20% off through our Patreon, patreon.com/natural6. But that's enough admin for now. We will see you very soon for more adventures in the world of Reliquiae. Bye, everybody!